Don't miss your exit. There's a big weekend of baseball happening in Flushing. Citi Field, the site of the Mets' first series of the year against their rivals, the Atlanta Braves. And Met fans are out in droves, ready to watch their heroes. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Atlanta Braves. Mets baseball is presented in HD by IOTV. Get your HD free with IOTV. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets open a three-game weekend series against the Atlanta Braves. He's been talking about it since last year, and Jerry Manuel finally pulled the trigger today. He has moved Jose Reyes out of the leadoff spot after 591 consecutive starts in that position, and Reyes, for the first time in his big league career, is going to bat third.
Well, I think the main reasoning behind this move by Jerry is the fact that the offense has been so anemic. They haven't been scoring runs. I think that puts right down the fifth hole. Kind of, if you got Francoeur down in the seventh hole, it kind of lengthens the lineup a little bit, and you've got a guy as versatile as Angel Pagan. Ronnie mentioned it earlier today. That's probably one of the big pluses there. The Pagan's been hitting eighth. Now he's in the leadoff spot, and we'll see how Jose responds to the number 3 hole.
And here is a player who has had a comfort zone his entire career in one spot, and all of a sudden being asked to do something that he's not familiar with.
Well, I think that's going to be really the danger spot for the Mets and Jose Reyes, is that he's going to have to really make sure he does not treat this any differently. He's not a home run hitter. He's going to be a run producer, and you can produce runs with singles, doubles, and triples, one of his specialties. So looking for him to really get started. 786 games to go to catch Keith in that third spot.
And now John Maine will try and get his season jump started. Had some positive signs his last start Sunday night against St. Louis, but still has a ways to go.
Well, I think he's feeling a little more confident that he's going to go back to some of the style he showed in 2007, his best season in the National League. And I think if he feels comfortable and lets that ball go, I've watched him try to throw 3 or 4 different pitches in the first inning, be real aggressive like he used to be, and I think he'll have better results.
And Kenshin Kawakami, the Japanese veteran, will pitch for the Braves. He's pitched well with not a whole lot of support this year.
Well, this last start, of course, was against Ubaldo Jimenez and the Colorado Rockies, where Jimenez threw the no-hitter, so hasn't got a lot of support, has pitched well, and has always pitched well last season against the Mets.
So it's the Mets and Braves getting set for the first meeting of the year. Mets and Braves from Citi Field. All the action coming your way on SNY. by Geico. By AT&T, rethink possible. By Frostbrewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By BP, help your car run younger for longer. Try BP gasoline with Invigorate. And by ZigTech, the energy drink for your feet. On the bases tomorrow at Citi Field following the Mets afternoon game against the Braves with the Mr. Met Dash for all kids 12 and under. For tickets, visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX. Here's your Suzuki around the majors for tonight. The Rays beat the White Sox 10-2 last night behind James Shields. 9-1 on a road trip that featured a lot of cold weather. That's where the Rays generally have not played in the past. Jacoby Ellsbury fractured ribs. He's going to be out for a while for the Red Sox, who are 6-10 on the year. And Justin Verlander got his first win of the season despite not pitching real well. 125 pitches in 5 innings as the Tigers beat the Angels 5-4. Not pictured there, Manny Ramirez on the disabled list with a calf injury. That means Manny will miss the series against the Mets here at Citi Field next week. John Maine getting ready for his 4th start of the year, looking for his first victory. Mets and Braves, all the action coming up from Citi Field. The conversation about the Braves, in fact, well, all of it this season is focused on the 20-year-old phenom, Jason Hayward. 16 runs batted in, 8 for 12 with runners in scoring position so far this year. He has already hit 4 home runs and caused quite a stir in his first 3 weeks in the majors.
Well, luckily for John Maine, the rest of the Atlanta team has been struggling to hit. We see John, his numbers so far in the first 3 starts of the season. He's going to have to get a little better today in pitches per inning and definitely get better last start. 27 balls fouled back.
And Alexis Metzi defense. You can see no errors in the last 27 chances at first base, and I tell you what, Mr. Davis over there at first is pretty smooth. He's showing a nice little glove thus far, and I think he's a multi-dimensional player. He's going to help you with his glove when he slumps.
Nate McLouth back in the leadoff slot tonight for the Braves. They have been experimenting there. They had Matt Diaz in the leadoff spot for a couple of games in their series against the Phillies, but the results have been the same. Braves leadoff hitters went 0 for 13 with no walks in that series against Philadelphia.
Well, here's a guy, when he was in Pittsburgh, got moved from that leadoff spot to the third slot for Pittsburgh, and then has gone back to the leadoff slot and hasn't really worked that well for him in Atlanta.
It's been a very puzzling start to the season for McLouth as Maine goes with the fastball, and it's swung and missed 0-1. Because McLouth didn't hit a lick in spring training either. And that has carried over into the regular season.
Well, he's got the big uppercut, and he has trouble with that pitch upstairs. This is an advantage for John. John just has that high riding fastball. McLouth should have trouble with that pitch.
First two fastballs at 87 and 88 for Maine. Early in the game against St. Louis Sunday night, as you look at Martin Prado on deck, he was getting his fastball 90 to 92, and the velocity went down as the innings went on. Now he hits 90, and it's 1-2 to McLouth.
Well, I like that he's come out throwing his fastball, even despite it not being in that 93, 94 mile-an-hour range. Aggressive is good for John, especially early.
And he gets him with the off-speed pitch. McLouth down looking for the first out of the game.
Well, this is an outstanding backdoor slider by John. I don't know what McLouth is shaking his head at. This is a beautiful pitch on the outside part. Caught nicely by Barajas. I guess McLouth thought it was low.
9.
No, only one. One out and nobody on. And here's Prado, who's been a bright spot on the Atlanta offense. Look at those numbers. 25 hits, tied for the major league lead. And hitting at .417, picking up where he left off last year. And Prado takes a fastball for a strike. Now, Maine had talked about reworking his mechanics and doing something that, was rather major in terms of changing what he was doing and going back to where he was a few years ago. Can you see that, Ronnie?
Yeah, he was trying to get a little more drop and drive in his motion, but I think it was 50% physical, but also 50% mental, because he was trying to transform himself from a 1.5 type pitcher. And what I mean by that, fastball with an occasional breaking ball, has pop up there, gotten by John Maine, caught by David, to a guy who is going to be throwing right from the first inning all three pitches, slider, fastball, and changeup. I think what happened is that it took away his aggressiveness. One of the things that's his strength is that he comes out throwing bullets, and then he kind of reacts after that how the hitters react. He's not at the stage yet, for me, where he's a guy who can throw all three pitches right away.
Well, he's come out throwing fastballs, gotten both outs on sliders. Here's Chipper Jones with 2 out, and he fouls back the first pitch fastball.
Well, he's come out throwing strikes. John's problem was his velocity drop in his last start. He had way too many pitches, and tonight he's coming aggressive and in the strike zone. This is going to be a quick inning if he gets Chipper.
And he gets ahead again, 0-2. So he has been a strike thrower. Walked 4 in 5 innings in St. Louis Sunday night, leading to 115 pitches in those 5 innings. Brian McCann, the cleanup hitter, on deck. 0-2 to Chipper Jones, and it's pulled on the ground right at Castillo. So a very smart first inning for John Maine. He gets the Braves out 1-2-3 on just 10 pitches.
said it's Shea. Oh, JJ.
Well, the Mets starting lineup tonight has a brand new look for the first time in his major league career. Jose Reyes is batting third. Last time he hit anything other than first was back in 2005 when he batted seventh in the order, with Mike Cameron that day batting leadoff in July of 05. And Reyes will hit third for the first time against Kenshin Kawakami.
Kawakami had a lot of work against the Mets last season, 24 2/3 innings of work, and he only had a 2.19 ERA, so very successful against the Mets.
Had 3 starts and 2 relief outings against the Mets last year. Well, Angel Pagan has a lot on his shoulders now, because the success of Reyes in the 3-hole is going to depend in large part on what Pagan can do hitting leadoff. And after a good run, Pagan is hitless in his last 8 at-bats. Had a lot of experience leading off last year when the Mets were beset with injuries. And the curveball misses 1-1. It's a different experience for Reyes. He's used to coming in after the top of the first, grabbing his helmet and getting right to the plate.
Might even be able to get a drink of water and maybe some bubble gum.
He's got 2 at-bats to watch the pitcher work.
Yep.
You got 2 left-hand hitters in front of you. Watch how he pitches the left-hand hitters.
Kawakami now 34 years old, his second year in the majors after 11 years pitching for the Chinichi Dragons in Japan. In 2004, he won the Japanese Central League equivalent of the MVP and the Cy Young in the same year. So he had that kind of success in his native country. And really slots as the number 5 starter for a very talented Atlanta rotation.
Well, he's good. He throws strikes. He's one of those guys, kind of a gamer who'll stay in there. He hasn't gotten any run support so far.
Well, he didn't even get hit support in his last start. They got no hit by Ubaldo Jimenez. 1-2 to Pagan leading off. And Angel struck out on the fastball. So Kawakami fans the first man to face him.
Well, steady diet of curveballs and right at him with that fastball.
That's only the 4th strikeout of the year so far for Kawakami, and you can see McLeod's Golden Glove in 2008. And that year also, he just burst on the scene, if you recall, in the National League. A terrific offensive year, but from that point on, it's been kind of a downhill slide for McLeod offensively.
Here's Luis Castillo, 0 for 2 last night, snapping an 8-game hitting streak, hitting at .265. Takes inside from Kawakami. And there is Reyes. Same on deck circle, just a little different timing. Bunted foul by Castillo. And what about it, Keith? I mean, you know, you were a number 3 hitter your whole life, but this is a guy who has not been accustomed to being a 3 hitter. What's going to be the biggest difference for him?
Well, I just feel that I would want Jose not to do anything differently. You don't want him to press now the fact that now he's going to be hitting in a spot where he's supposed to drive in runs. And does he press when men are on base as opposed to being a table sitter his whole career? To me, the biggest adjustment would be, even for me, as a 3rd hitter, if they put me in a cleanup spot. Because a cleanup spot, you got to hit home runs. You're the big bomber. So that would be something that could affect a hitter more, I think, going in that cleanup spot. And with Jose, I just do what he does, and hopefully he doesn't try to put too much pressure on himself when there's men out there to drive in.
Castillo launches one to deep center field. McLeod's racing back, and he runs it down with a beautiful sliding grab. McLeod had to go a country mile playing shallow and toward left field, and Castillo has been driving the ball left-handed more than we've seen in past years. Hit one a long way, and McLeod makes a terrific play.
Boy, oh boy, he ran a long way for that ball. Was playing way over in left center field and had a long way to run, and he knew it right away. He got on his horse and ran that down. That's nice. Nice to watch.
So 2 out and nobody on. And now Reyes will bat just like he's leading off.
Exactly. Right.
6 for 14 in the series against the Cubs that just ended. And he takes outside for ball one.
I think where the pressure might come from is the reason that this move needed to be made is because the Mets offense has been struggling. I mean, he is supposed to energize this lineup by getting in that third slot.
And with Reyes batting third, what that's enabled Jerry Manuel to do is drop David Wright to fifth. He's kept Ike Davis in the sixth spot and dropped Jeff Francoeur down to seventh. And what that will do, if everybody's hitting, is lengthen the batting order. 2-1 now to Reyes.
It's been a struggle for Reyes so far. Right-handed against right-handers, 206. But it's early. I mean, one good day this early in the season, you have one big 4-for-4 day against a right-hander. That average can be up over 300.
Had that 4-hit game earlier this week that seemed to jumpstart him. 2-2 now to Jose.
I also think if you look at the lineup now with David hitting fifth, 4 of the first 5 guys, and Bay does not run poorly, you have a lot of speed in the top of that lineup.
Kawakami's 2-2, and Reyes goes down swinging. And so Kawakami fans appear in the first inning. Both sides go in order. Brian McCann leads off against John Maine in the second. Mets and Braves, no score. The Mets with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Mets game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Mets.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. All-star catcher Brian McCann will lead off against John Maine. The Braves had been hitting Jason Hayward further down in the order, but they've moved him up to number 5 because teams have been consistently pitching around Brian McCann in that cleanup spot. He's already drawn 13 walks this year.
Well, it's much like when I was younger and I hit in the third spot behind in front of Ted Simmons, Gary. And even in '79 when I won the batting title, they were going to pitch to me, not Ted Simmons. And I think that's what we're seeing here. And I knew if I got ahead in the count that they were going to come after me because they didn't want the switch hitting Ted Simmons, who was already established, the veteran, back there driving in the run.
McCann fouls one off. Have we seen this severe a shift played against McCann in the past?
I have not. I have not. But, you know, to me, the kind of hitter he is, to me, and I don't care what the charts say, maybe on the ground he pulls the ball, but tremendous power to left center. That's where I would group my outfielders.
We've certainly seen plenty of that against the Mets. 2-1 to McCann.
But if you're going to give him a steady diet, maybe of pitching him hard in, then maybe you can play your outfielders that way.
Maine behind in the count for the first time, and McCann pops one up. David Wright, the only infielder. Jason Bay coming in from left to try to help, but Wright's going to have to do it himself, and he does. David kept looking at Bay to see if he was going to get any assistance, but playing over near that shortstop position, he winds up making the catch.
Well, a tough chance because of the shift, and almost a collision here, and
boy, a nice play by David.
It really was a nice play.
That's a long way to have to go.
And you know, it's kind of a natural play for a shortstop. He's used to angling toward the line like that, but that's just not something he's accustomed to doing. So now Jason Hayward up for the first time at Citi Field. And I don't think there's anybody in baseball who's been the subject of more conversation through the first 3 weeks of the season than this guy. Just 20 years of age. Actually born in New Jersey, born in Ridgewood, New Jersey, but his family moved to Atlanta when he was just 2 years old. And he has been groomed to be a superstar.
He stands off the plate, way off the plate. He is in the top 5 in all rookie categories. He's leading in like around 5 of them. 6, excuse me.
And he's had the sense of the moment very early in his career. He had a 3-run homer in his first major league at bat. He's already had a couple of walk-off hits. He's 8 for 12 with runners in scoring position, which is just phenomenal for a young player.
Driven in 16 runs.
He's drawn 10 walks already. He's very patient. Works a 3-2 count here against Maine. We saw him in spring training. We saw some of his skills. He can run. He's got a good arm.
Saw him steal third base standing up.
3-2 from Maine, and he struck him out. Fastball gets Hayward for the second out of the inning. Second strikeout for John.
Well, sometimes the speed gun doesn't tell the true story. John's got a good hop on his fastball tonight.
Looks like. Kind of reaching for that one. It's the 20th strikeout for Hayward in this young season.
He's got 10 walks, so that's been a good sign. His on-base percentage is up near 400.
So Maine's retired the first 5. Now Eric Hinsky, and he drops down a bunt with the Mets playing the shift, and he has himself an easy base hit.
Wow.
That was surprising to see the Mets go into that full-fledged shift against Hinsky, and he took advantage of it by laying down the bunt hit, the first base runner of the game.
Oh, look at his back foot. If he'd have almost would have stepped on home plate, look at he's behind it.
You know,
he would have been out.
You know what's a great thing he did there? He bunted it hard. Because the only way he can really screw up that play is to bunt it soft, and Maine makes the play on it.
So Hinsky, a 2-out base runner. And now Melky Cabrera, who along with Hinsky played with the Yankees last year, and it's been an awful start for Melky, who was traded for Javier Vasquez. Just 6 for 48 to begin the season. Hitting a .125. And the switch hitter takes the changeup up and away for ball 1.
Well, surrounded by a lot of formidable hitters when he was in those pinstripes. A little different here as the Braves have struggled early along with Cabrera.
And down in the order in the 7th spot. Nice changeup. Good movement.
You're right, Keith.
Nice. Nice thing.
John doubling up on his changeup after missing with one. Throws a good one and now gets ahead 1-2. He's already fanned a pair.
Up to 90 now with that fastballs. John's starting to loosen up.
Omar Infante is playing shortstop tonight and batting 8th, with Yunel Escobar getting his first day off this year. Two and 2 to Cabrera, and Hinsky, who's no threat to go. Chase back.
Well, I just saw him go bunt for a base hit, so I figured he might have some speed.
Just missed. Maine thought he had strike 3, but Bill Hahn said no. 3-2.
Well, Bill Hahn took a second look too.
So Ike Davis comes in to tell Maine he's going to play behind the runner. With 3-2 and 2 down, Hiskey will be taking off. And Cabrera fouls one away.
Swung the ball 4.
I've always felt when you face Cabrera that he's such a free swinger that, you know, if you can get on top of him, you really can get him to chase balls out of the strike zone.
Again, the 3-2 out to left field, and Jason Bay steadies. Side retired. So Maine gives up a bunt single, but no more. That's come up in the bottom of the second. No score. Jason Bay leads off the last of the second for New York. Jason was 0 for 4 last night, now hitting at .224 with 23 strikeouts. Only one player in the majors has struck out more. Austin Jackson with the Tigers, 24 strikeouts. Bay takes a strike.
Thought he swung the bat a lot better yesterday.
Keith, you say that. Like, what signs in Bay's swing make you feel as though he's swinging a little better?
I just think he's waiting a little more. He's been out in front. Off-speed pitches, breaking pitches have been bothering him. And there he goes. And you take, ooh, that ball's outside. Okay. I thought that was strike 2.
David Wright wearing 5 and hitting 5. Waiting on deck. Bay has 2 hits and 2 career at-bats against Kawakami, including a home run. And the curveball hit in the air to left.
A little quick.
Well, he missed the pitch there, didn't he?
A little quick, and that's why he hit it so much in the air.
Elton Cabrera puts it away for the first out.
This is a hanging breaking ball right here that stays on inside, and he rushes out to get it. Not bad balance though. He just knew he missed.
Oh, to see his face. Oh,
I think he did not rush out that much. I liked the way he swung the bat there.
You always know immediately when you just miss one like that.
Yes, of course, absolutely.
Here's David Wright. David had himself an RBI double in the game last night, but struck out his other 3 at bats, and he takes the curveball for ball 1. So he's still trying to find it. Hitting just .211 against right-handed pitching this year.
I will say, though, he's kept his sense of humor. Keith, we're in the dugout. You picked up his bat, wanted to feel how it felt, and
he said it's got holes in it. I said, no, it doesn't have holes in it. It's just the ball's going over the top of the bat.
Down to third, and Chipper Jones right in front of it. Throws out right for the second out. So 5 up and 5 down for Kawakami. Here's your umpiring crew for tonight. Johan, the crew chief, he's behind the plate. Emmel, Estabrook, and Dreckman. The other three.
I didn't know Bill Hahn had 29 years.
He was around when we were playing.
Yeah, I just honestly didn't.
He was a youngster back then.
Yeah.
Here's Ike Davis. 6 for 15 to begin his big league career. And a very impressive night last night with 3 hits, including his first double. And especially interesting watching him struggle and then hang in against the left-handers.
Well, he's 4 for 6 against left-handers so far this young season for him.
So each team showing off their prize rookie in this series, #1 draft picks, and there's a former Atlanta #1 pick who certainly knows what it's like to be a homegrown star in Georgia, waiting on deck. 1-1 to Ike, and the fastball beat him away 1-2.
That's the pitch that's been giving him trouble, Ron. A pitch away. He stands off the plate, and we talked about him kind of not really driving in a lot. One of those guys that when you make a mistake middle in, he's going to really put a hurt on you. But right now, it just seems the way to pitch him is just to stay away, show him inside once in a while, and then stay on the outside corner.
And Kawakami stays there and just misses 2-2.
You know, I had to make adjustments early in my career as to where I stood close, as far as closeness to the plate. I had to move off the plate against right-handers, and I moved closer against left-handers.
Pulled down to first, and Hinsky with the bobble, able to recover in time to get Davis. 6 up and 6 down for Kenshin Kawakami to start the night, and we go to the third with no score. Maybe not.
That's harsh, Gary. That's harsh.
We go to the third inning. Mets and Braves no score. There's been only one base runner in this game, and that was a bunt single by Eric Hinsky. Omar Infante playing shortstop tonight. You know, Escobar started each of the first 15 games at short for the Braves, but I don't know if you'd say he's getting the night off or he's being benched tonight.
Yeah,
he's somewhere in between. Infante, veteran utility man, takes a strike.
We live in a world now where the coaches and managers are very reticent about saying that they're benching a player. Don't want to really hurt their feelings, I guess. But Escobar had a couple incidents where he did not run out a double play ball and was thrown out at first base. And then also was not in the right position to turn a double play, which would have got Derek Lowe out of an inning. Those two things did not wear well on Bobby or the team, but no indication that the sitting down is a benching.
And Infante getting the opportunity to play. Has himself a base hit leading off in the third inning. So the first leadoff man on for either side. Kawakami coming up to bunt, and we will send it down to Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
Guys, you know, we've started a new tradition this year, the live Ask the Booth, and the buzz around here has obviously been about the batting order, with Reyes batting third. So I found Chris from Jersey, who, by the way, trains seeing eye dogs. How cool is that?
Wow.
Chris, you got a question for the guys upstairs?
Yeah, hey, guys, I was just wondering, with Jose batting in the 3-hole now instead of the leadoff spot, how does he change his mental approach when he steps to the plate?
Well done, Chris. Fellas?
Well, he shouldn't change his mental approach. He should have still. It's the same pitcher out there, and he's just hitting in a different position. What I'm concerned about is if he gets in RBI situations, is he going to press, because now he's no longer a table setter. He is a guy that's in a position to drive in runs, and that's the only thing that concerns me.
Well, Jerry even addressed it. He said one of the big things is that he needs Jose to be Jose. Because if he gets on base and doesn't still put pressure on the pitcher, that's going to help Bay get more fastballs, the slide step, maybe a mistake in the breaking ball.
Kawakami gets the bunt down. Maine will go to first. 1-3 on the sacrifice, moving Infante to second. Here's my take on Reyes. He's saying all the right things. He has said from day one he'll do whatever the team needs him to do to succeed, and I think that he believes that 100% right now. But talking to him today and watching his body language, here's my fear. This is a guy whose identity is as a leadoff hitter. It's what he's been ever since he started playing baseball. And if he goes a couple of games without having any success in the 3-hole, I worry that he will begin to doubt that that's the right thing to do, and that will snowball on him. Is that a legitimate concern as McLeod hits one out to center field?
It's a concern, but by the same token,
Infante trying for third, Pagan's throw cut off.
He can have fun with it too. He can have success. On the other flip side of the coin, he can go, hey, this is fun, I'm driving in runs.
And I think that's what Jerry addressed, that in the first spring training game, intra-squad game, Reyes hit third. First time up, he had a triple, drove in 2. And then when he came back to the bench, he goes, hey, wow, 2 RBIs with that triple. So he was really excited about that. But I know what you're saying, Gary, like a Ricky Henderson, where that position of Ricky could have hit in the 3rd hole, could have hit in the 4th hole,
sure,
right? But Ricky, as the leadoff hitter, redefined the position. I think Jose was trying to do that himself.
Runner at third with 2 on. Martin Prado takes ball 1.
He could become like Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan hit third for the Big Red Machine, and he can. Joe Morgan, he was like a leadoff hitter, but Joe Morgan was a great clutch hitter with power. Jose can do all the things he does in the leadoff role. He can score runs. It gives him more speed at the top, actually. Steal bases. There's no change. He can steal the same amount of bases, but he can also be driving in 100 runs. You never know. Have fun with it.
Well, I think a nice equivalent, if people will remember back, not too many years ago, Barry Larkin was a shortstop for the Reds who was a leadoff hitter, moved to the 3rd slot, and he's probably a closer equivalent to Reyes' games. Not as many steals, but the shortstop position.
And that's one of the names that Jerry used as a selling point when he talked to Jose about it. The 2 guys that he talked about were Larkin and Hanley Ramirez, players that he felt that Reyes could identify with, who had made that move. I don't think there's any question that Reyes is capable of being good in that spot, but I think it's about him accepting it and feeling good about it. And I think early success is going to be important to solidify that for him.
The only problem is that he's being moved before he's really gotten red hot. And, that you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, but he hasn't proven yet, coming back from the injury, that he's really got his swing 100%.
Prado draws a walk. And so Maine pitching carefully to the hot Prado, and now he'll face Chipper Jones with 1st and 3rd. Well, that's the most recent example of a guy who was established as a leadoff hitter and moved to the 3-hole, and you see what it did for him in terms of his ability to drive in runs.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and you can see the runs driven in, and also the 3rd hitter in the line is a very prideful spot in that order. I mean, it's supposed to be your best hitter.
And that's another interesting question as Chipper Jones steps in, 1st and 3rd and 2 out, grounded out to second base his first time up.
I don't think Jose's gotten that part yet, because I asked him it directly. I said, traditionally, number 3 hitters, the most important hitter in the lineup, the guy who's considered the best hitter. I said, do you feel any of that? Do you feel that pride? He goes, no. So I think that right now he's just locked into the idea of, I have to stay who I am, and that's the part of it that he's bought into.
I've always thought when I pitched against great number 3 hitters that they were the most complete hitter. They could not only hit 320 off you, they can also ground the ball out if they need to drive in a run. They can hit a sac fly, and every once in a while when the team needs it, they take you deep. That's what a great third hitter can do.
Yep, no question. Clemente hit third for those Pirate teams. Great third hitter. Barry Bonds hit third.
I mean, think about it. The best third place hitter right now is Albert Pujols. Yes. And Albert Pujols does it all, right? He's more of a power hitter, but he hits 330.
Yes. And really, you would think if Tony La Russa had a better, a first-rate third hitter, Pujols would hit cleanup.
Agreed.
Chipper takes up and away. Of course, the best number 3 hitter the Mets ever had is sitting to my right. 787 consecutive starts in the number 3 hole.
I love the third spot. I just did. You're in the middle of it, man. Dual roll. You're table setting and driving them in.
Here's the 2-1 to Chipper, and it's taken low, knocked down by Barajas. So Maine, after walking Prado, has fallen behind Chipper 3-1.
Speaking of 3 hitters, Chipper Jones right down there, not too shabby.
428 career home runs for Chipper, who turns 38 years of age tomorrow.
And he's been doing it for such a long time. He said that his job now is to have a successful year and to groom Mr. Hayward to take his place as the number 3 hitter.
Maybe not yet, though.
Not yet.
3-1. Driven to right, past Castillo, base hit, and the Braves take the lead.
3-1.
Infante trots in to score. Chipper Jones drives in only his 5th run of the year, and the Braves are up 1-0.
Well, he's a Met killer, and we all know about his numbers against the Mets over his long career. 3-1, gets a fastball, and Chipper said he was been pulling too much from the left side of the plate, wanted to go more up the middle. Well, this one right here, he was looking for something to drive, and the odds are that Maine 3-1 was going to throw a fastball away, and didn't get it away enough.
Castillo playing deep, but not quite deep enough. So now Brian McCann with 2 out and 2 on and a run in. Popped up to third base his first time up. No overshift this time against McCann.
I know that Prado's red hot. The semi pitch around Prado to me is something they'd like to have back. Chipper Jones, you never want to face him with ducks on the pond. He's just too good.
Right.
He's a run producer.
I agree. And sometimes you got to take your chances. Prado's not a big power hitter. Here's a fastball, hit it.
And Prado had a great year last year. 38 doubles. He's gotten off to a great start. He's a really good player. But he certainly doesn't have the pedigree of Jones.
Well, getting to know you moment there. The veteran and the youngster.
That's
nice.
Always fun.
Yeah.
My first time I got to talk to Pete Rose, Steve Garvey, Willie Stargell.
Were you nervous at all when you were a rookie talking to veteran players like that?
I was 20 years old, and all of a sudden I'm standing next to those guys, and they're being nice to me and chit-chatting. It was just, yes, I was nervous. I stuttered, too, When I get nervous, I stutter.
And don't forget it, this generation of player, a guy like Ike Davis, he might have been Chipper Jones in his video games when he was a young kid, right? I'm going to be Chipper.
I have a trouble with my whiches, wheres, and whys. WHs. That's my problem.
So that's what Pete Rose heard from you? A lot of whoa-whoa?
Well, I would try to stay away from them.
McCann fouls one at the plate. Good changeup by Maine, and it's 2-1.
Which, when, where, why. And I get in an interview when I was young, and I was nervous in front of a camera and uncomfortable in my early years, and I would know that a which, where, or why was coming, and I'd go, well, yeah, whoa. I'd just be so embarrassed.
Well, we're very pleased for the sake of your current profession that you've gotten past.
Well, yeah, I'm much more comfortable with myself now.
2-1 to McCann. And Maine again falls behind 3-1, third straight batter.
It's a little danger zone here for John. He's given up a run. No big deal. 2 outs here. There's certain outs they have to get in the game. This is one of them right here. You don't want to go to the bases loaded with the young phenom up.
Tough hitter to face behind in the count. 3-1 to McCann. And he walked him, and now the bases are loaded for Jason Hayward. So a pivotal moment in this game has arrived for Maine in only the third inning. He's walked 2 and given up 2 hits here in the third. He's down 1-0. And young Jason Hayward, who was 8 for 12 in his short major league career with runners in scoring position, comes up in a game-breaking spot.
Well, he struck him out with a fastball away last at bat. Let's see if Mr. Hayward makes any adjustments, and he stands way off the plate.
He is listed at 6'5", 240 pounds, but he doesn't look thick enough to be 240. When I hear 6'5", 240, I think Dave Parker. He's more Fred McGriff in his body type.
Speaking of a number 3 hitter, Dave Parker.
There's a strike, and it's 0-2.
Borderline strike, got the call. That's too close to take.
Bill Hahn has shown that he's going to call that low pitch.
So now Maine up in the count. And throws low and away 1-2.
See how he kept that shoulder in Hayward right there in that changeup. He is going to showing the kind of 2-strike hitter. He's going to bear down now.
He's got tremendous power to left field, all fields.
1-2. Struck him out. Maine fans Hayward with the bases loaded. Second time he has struck out Jason Hayward. And that enables John to limit the damage in the third. Braves get a run on Chipper Jones's 2-out hit. 1-0 Atlanta. Bring you the inside scoop on the Hot 9 New York sports stories of the day. In the Wheelhouse, presented by Pepsi, weekdays at 5:30 only on SNY. John Maine sporting the new shorter dew for the second straight start. He certainly avoided big-time trouble in that top of the third. Now the Mets will try and get the run back in the bottom of the third. Jeff Francoeur hitting 7th tonight. Snapped an 0 for 24 skid with an RBI single last night. Hoping that'll get him going. Facing his old ball club. One and one to Francoeur, with Barajas and Maine to follow here in the bottom of the third.
This Kawakami's a little sneaky fast also.
He's got a nice changeup. Spots his fastball well. Runs it in on the right-handers.
Kind of just tries to throw that little breaking ball for strikes.
Another one of those not overpowering pitchers that knows how to pitch and mixes them up. It's crafty.
7-12 last year, despite a pretty good 3.86 ERA with the Braves last season. And 0-2 to start this year. 1-2 to Francoeur, and he misses high with the fastball. 2-2.
Well, he's not a very big guy, so how he generates speed is that he will definitely have the pause at the top, another pause as he sits, and then a real quick movement from there. Really gets that arm speed going.
And the curveball rocketed down the left field line, but foul.
Oh, hanger right there.
He's made 2 mistakes for that curveball, and both May and Francoeur just a little early.
They flied out, and Francoeur hit it home run distance, but pulled it foul.
Just a little bit too quick. Another one, Ron?
Yeah, he wants to double up.
And this one, Francoeur fouls off. Ronnie, when you make 2 mistakes like that with a curveball early in the game, and you get away with them, how does that affect how you utilize that pitch as you go forward?
Well, I think that's why he doubled up there, because it clicked in his head. You know what? I just hung another one. Now I know I'm going to get way in front and make sure this one's down. But you have to continue to keep throwing it, Gary. Sometimes you pick a spot where you can waste it.
Driven toward the gap in left center, headed toward the wall, and it's off the fence. Francoeur was hustling, moves to second, and stands with a double. And it gets away, backed up by McCann. He mishandles it, and Francoeur's at third. That ball went through 4 people to get across the first baseline into foul territory, and Francoeur alertly took third base. He missed a home run by about 1.5 feet at the top of that high wall.
Right down the pipe again. They wanted to give that inside corner backup slider, and it came back over the middle. Oh, wow. We're on a foot. Melky here, just no chance to get anybody, and no one's backing up. Where's the first baseman? Where's the pitcher?
So Francoeur has his 4th double of the year. The error is on Cabrera, enabling Francoeur to go to third. He hit that ball 15 feet up on a 16-foot fence. Howie Rose is taken to calling that wall the Great Wall of Flushing.
Very nice.
I like that. There's Barajas, who pops one up in foul ground, and that'll go out of play.
Kami better watch out with his breaking ball. He is starting to leave it sitting on a tee.
Well, Francoeur makes a nice reaction. Watch him running, though. Almost missed first. Once he gets a second and sees this go through, watch this little comic act here. He doesn't know whether to slide or not. Watch this.
Oh, goodness.
Chip saying, how come you didn't slide?
What are you? When in doubt, slide. You almost would have took him into the dugout.
Infield back. And Barajas rolls one down to third. Chipper Jones coming home, and Francoeur runs McCann, his buddy, but can't make solid contact, and he's out. Those guys go back to Little League together, and Francoeur couldn't get a solid shot at his old friend, and that's the first out of the inning.
Well, contact play here. Barajas not happy with himself. It's the one spot you don't want to hit it. Chipper alertly throws home. And watch McCann here using 2 hands. Secure that ball in the glove under, like when there's going to be a collision. Always 2 hands. I've seen a lot of catchers go one hand and get knocked out.
John Maine looking to bunt.
And you know what the catchers do there, and McCann did it very nicely. If you're at home and you're a young guy and you're going to get run over there, don't reach in and go to the attack. Kind of turn your shoulder and give with the runner. Makes it much easier.
Maine gets the bunt down. Chipper's going to go to first. 5-4 on the sacrifice, moving Barajas to second. 2 out.
Well, here it is again. 2 hands, and you secure that ball. And Mass came flying off, too.
And, you know, good play here. Francoeur can see that the ball's going to beat him. No chance to slide around the tag, so try to draw it loose. Good baseball play.
And normally you're not going to have a contact play with nobody out, but with the pitcher on deck, you really have no choice, right?
That was the play, is that, you know, with John Maine up next, if Barajas didn't get him in, you're going to think that you have 2 outs.
Now Pagan with 2 on the runner at second. Angel struck out his first time up. And he lifts one toward left center field, slicing over his Cabrera to make the catch. So Kawakami gives up a leadoff double that barely missed getting out and survives the 3rd inning with a 1-0 lead. fourth inning at Citi Field. The Braves with a 1-0 lead. John Maine had a very efficient first inning through 10 pitches, 9 for strikes, but it's gotten more rocky for him as the game has gone along, and that's pretty reminiscent of what we saw in his last start.
Well, he's averaging over 21 pitches per inning. When you do that, you guys at home can do the math, that only gets you through 5 innings, and that's not going to make it. John's got to somehow find a way to have these players put it back in play.
Eric Hinsky lifts the first pitch to shallow center, and Angel Pagan comes drifting in. 1 out. So 1 pitch and 1 retired for Maine, and he could use a little more of that. And now Melky Cabrera, who flied to left his first time up. Well, we've talked a lot about John Maine and the transition that he's trying to make here.
Yeah.
He talked after his start in Colorado about junking what he had done for 6 weeks coming through spring training after looking at video of himself from 2007 and trying to rework himself.
Well, he won 15 games that season, capping it off on that wonderful Saturday afternoon when he punched out 14 and almost had a no-hitter. First Mets no-hitter. But I think what has happened now is that he tried to make some changes. Tried to make some changes with Dan. Some were working and some weren't. One of the changes was really to try to, one, push off on that mound, kind of drop and drive a little more than he has in the past. Maybe almost become more of a dart thrower, trying to hit corners of corners, changing speeds with the slider and changeup. John always has been, from the beginning of time, a very aggressive pitcher, throws a lot of fastballs.
Castillo throws out Cabrera for the second out.
The one thing about John, he's very tall and he's very slender. So one of the things you get with tall and slender pitchers is that they don't really have the ability to get to sit down on their backside and really push off that mound. They really stand very tall, as John does. You can see. I mean, his head comes down maybe 6 inches, as opposed to watching, of course, the man we had in the booth a couple days ago, Tom Seaver, who would get down where his left knee would hit the ground. But I think with John, what he's trying to change is really what he's thinking when he opposes these hitters. You know, instead of trying to throw darts to corners, pick a side, a quadrant where to throw that pitch and be aggressive towards it. And he's doing a much better job here early.
Omar Infante had a base hit his first time up. But there's another question that comes with that, and that is that, you know, John made changes based on the suggestions of his pitching coach, and they were well thought out suggestions on Dan Warthen's part. But I guess the question is, what's the obligation of a player to follow a coach's advice, and at what point does the player have to decide for himself what direction he wants to go? As Infante has a hit and he's 2 for 2.
That's always the most difficult, because if you are a good player, you are your own coach. And you should know the little things that go awry. That being said, you always want the pitching coach or the hitting coach to have 2 or 3 things to think about when you're pitching that are very important, and if you don't do those, to point them out to you. But really, you know, your career is on you. It looks like Jerry Mann is going to go out. John's been really rubbing his, I thought, left forearm, which is a little unusual.
So we'll see what transpires here.
Like he's got numbness or something.
Ray Ramirez talking to John to try and determine what's befallen him. And Isanori Takahashi will quickly get to work in the bullpen. So at a point where Maine was trying to settle in, having gone 3 2/3 tonight, some question as to whether he can stay in the game. And he is coming out. Sign has gone to the bullpen, and Maine is going to leave because of injury after 3 2/3. A very disappointing development, I'm sure, for John, who made some very important pitches in the last inning, striking out Hayward to get out of the bases loaded jam. Got a couple of quick outs here in the 4th before giving up a 2-out hit to the 8-hitter.
I just think that, you got to feel awful if you're John. Remember, last game he pitched was that Sunday game after the Mets had gone 20 innings. He wanted to go deep into that game, had a discussion with Jerry. They took him out after 5 innings because of a pitch count, and now not able to go past 3.
Well, we'll find out as soon as we can exactly what has happened to John, but it appears to be something with his left arm, and David Wright, you see, just pointing to that left arm.
Remember he had trouble with his opposite arm? Was it a couple of years ago? Was it John that had a cramp? Was it John?
Cramp or numbness or something,
yes. Yeah. And it was in Philadelphia. It was in his non-pitching arm.
So Maine just cannot seem to find a path to being completely healthy and able to function, and hopefully this is nothing serious that will cost him any further time, but he is exiting this game.
I said it before the year, the most important thing is that for Maine, Pelfrey, and Perez, they needed to make 90 starts this year.
Well, Isanori Takahashi coming into the game. He'll get as long as he needs to warm up. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. We'll be right back. It's just when it looked like he was starting to get his act together. This is his last pitch. Let's see if can we see anything here.
Well, that's a regular look for a pitcher after he's given up a base hit, but we did not see him doing anything on the mound that would necessitate the visit. But maybe obviously in between innings he had a discussion with the trainers, Ray Ramirez, and you can see Dan Worth now talking with him. He gave him a little rub on the shoulder. There it is.
See him pointing to that left arm, but I guess my question is, why was that the point at which the trainer came out? What indication was there that after getting 2 outs and then giving up that single, that was the point at which he needed to be removed? Well, I guess we'll find out afterward. He's not going in to get treatment. He's staying in the dugout. So
a little bit odd.
Yeah, well, it means it's not something acute anyway. So Takahashi will take over in long relief. Last pitch night before last gave up 3 runs in 2 innings against the Cubs. And he'll face the pitcher Kawakami, who takes a strike.
Takahashi pitched well in that first inning when he had a scoreless inning. When he came out for the next inning, that's when he struggled.
Oh, 0-2 to Kawakami, who had a sacrifice his first time up. And he struck him out on 3 pitches. So Takahashi comes in, fans the first man to face him. Finishing John Maine's 4th inning. John heads off to the clubhouse, and we go to the bottom of the 4th with the Braves up 1-0. Well, 2 guys named Figvaresi have great seats tonight. That's our buddy Andrew Figvaresi, who makes us look good in the newspapers for SNY, and his dad Bill, who is here at the ballpark tonight with him. Got to meet Bill before the game tonight.
Well, the hardest job in show business is to try to make us look good, by the way, and Andrew does a great job, and his father Bill, he was just like so proud to show his dad off today. It was really cool. Andrew's just a great guy. Bill, you've raised a wonderful son.
I told him that when I met him. So you guys did a good job. Be proud of your son.
He's going to rise to even bigger and better things, you know, Mr. Figvaresi, the younger.
Of course. We'll be left in the trail.
Yeah.
The fumes.
We can visit him in the White House.
There we go.
Here's Luis Castillo leading off the home 4th inning. With a long fly ball to center his first time up, and Dave McLeod went a long way back to get it. Jose Reyes in his new number 3 hole waiting on deck, and then Jason Bay here in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, you get an idea of how far McLeod had to run. Look at McLeod. Look at over here and left.
Well, he's made no concession to the fact that Castillo hit the ball that far his first time up.
That is as shallow as it can get. They're daring you to hit the ball over their head.
And it's been interesting watching Louis early in the season, because normally as a left-hand hitter, he's just trying to slap the ball to left field, but he's driven a number of balls toward right center.
Tells me his legs must be feeling pretty good.
Tops this one to the second baseman, and Prado throws him out, 1 away. So Castillo retired, and now Reyes will come up for the second time. And here's the irony of the first time around the batting order with Reyes hitting 3rd. He came up in the first inning with 2 out and nobody on. Pagan in the leadoff spot came up in an RBI situation.
Go figure, right?
That's right.
Go figure. The best was it the best laid plans of mice and men?
They off go awry.
Yeah.
Reyes struck out his first time up. Kawakami threw a good changeup to get him, and he misses high with the fastball, 1 ball.
John Steinbeck actually lived in Sag Harbor and wrote a book, The Winter of My Discontent, which is about Sag Harbor. And there's a local pub there, but it's almost in honor of him, called the Corner Bar, where he used to sit and drink. And he had his house where he wrote the book.
Yeah.
He had a private home on the banks of the lake, not the lake, but the inlet.
Yeah.
Where he wrote with the beautiful scene of the Sag Harbor.
Late on the fastball, 1-2.
Well, I always think of Steinbeck and Monterey.
Right.
Tannery Row.
He's one of my favorite writers.
I just never dreamt there was any discontent in Sag Harbor.
Writers are always moody.
1-2 to Reyes. And the fastball is up, 2-2. Jose pops one up, shallow left. Melky Cabrera angling in. Is he going to get there? No! It lands for a hit. Reyes trying for second. Cabrera's throw, not in time! Reyes hustles out a two-base hit. A pop fly double for Jose Reyes.
Long run for Cabrera here. And it looked good, boy, a tough chance.
Well, very similar to the right Bay play where they were looking at each other.
Someone's going to make the call there. No one opened their mouth. And we'll see Jose here, hustling down the line. Good. Close. He beat it.
I guess Estabrook right on top of the call and made what looked like a good call. So the Mets with a one-out base runner. Tying run in scoring position for Jason Bay, who flied to left his first time up. And he takes off the plate for ball one. Bay just 3 for 18 this year with runners in scoring position. He's been held to just 3 runs batted in through the first 16 games.
Good cut.
I thought Reyes' left hand got in there right before the tag. Let's see. Coors Light freeze cam.
Yep.
Very close.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like a good call.
Well, Bobby didn't come out. That's a good indication because Bobby's not afraid.
Well, he leads the world in ejections. That's a strike. 1-2 to Bay.
Up and in strike.
Bobby Cox in his final year as Braves manager. He's already got a deal to spend the next 5 years as a consultant in the Braves front office. One of the most successful managers of all time. Imagine 14 straight division titles. Pickoff try with Prado covering. When Reyes gets back.
2 go-arounds with the Braves, totaling up to 25 years.
Started with Toronto. Started with Toronto.
And before yesterday had been involved in the last triple play in Yankees history when he was a rookie back in 1968. Julie Womack to Bobby Cox to Mickey Mantle for a 1-5-3 triple play.
Line drive to Womack, who's the pitcher. Threw it to Cox covering third. Crossed the diamond over to Mantle, who was playing first.
1-2 to Bay with Prado still keeping Reyes close. And Bay lines one right to Chipper Jones, and Reyes hustles back to the bag. 2 out.
Good base running by Jose.
I think Bay's putting the bat better, guys.
The ball just got in on him a little bit. And you know, when you're going hot, those line drives find a hole. And when you're struggling, they're right at the fielder.
Yep. But if there's any solace, it's the fact that you hit the ball, had good contact.
So now 2 out, and David Wright will try and get the run in. Here's a piece of trivia that I found startling. Remember last night, Wright drove in Reyes with the first run of the game, the go-ahead run in the 6th inning. The last time that David Wright drove in Jose Reyes with the game-winning RBI in the 5th inning or later, 2007. You would figure it happens 10 times a year.
Yeah, of course.
Never happened in 08, and obviously Reyes didn't play a whole lot in 09. But they snapped that cold spell last night.
Bill Hahn was calling that pitch a strike early. At borderline knees, he gave that call to David.
McLeod awfully shallow in center field against right.
Very shallow. You know, I kind of question.
Yeah.
Because he was on second base. You're going to play that shallow, you're going to have a hard time throwing out Jose Reyes. I'd back up a tad.
David's going right. He's driving that ball to right center. Well beyond where McLeod is playing.
Doubling up inside.
1-2. A little low. Even to right with Ike Davis on deck. David has drawn more walks than anybody in the major leagues. 19 of them already this year. Kawakami's 2-2. Got in on him and struck him out to end the inning. Third strikeout for Kenshin Kawakami, and he keeps the Mets scoreless. 1-0 Atlanta after 4.
Single. And the Mets, of course, had some new additions in the offseason on the field and off the field, too. A couple new additions to their coaching staff. One of the guys we haven't talked about at all is their new bench coach, Dave Joust. And Dave goes back in baseball a long time. And how he and Jerry Manuel met is kind of a neat story. Dave was coaching college ball for a while. He was at Atlantic Christian College in North Carolina. And he had, for 7 years, had several interviews with pro ball. Couldn't make that jump, though. Couldn't get the job to make the crack to get into pro ball. Well, in 1987, he finally got an interview with Jerry Manuel, who at the time was the field coordinator for the Montreal Expos, as Nate McLeod will start off for the Braves against Takahashi. And in the interview, they met at a restaurant, they ordered up some wings, and they started talking basketball for the next 5.5 hours. The interview was 6 hours. Only a half hour of it was spent talking baseball, but they hit it off so much talking hoops that Joust was hired, and the two men reconnected in the offseason. Dave Joust is here now as the bench coach. Dave was actually a really good basketball player. He was a captain of his basketball team playing at Amherst College, so he had some hoops in the background as well, and Jerry's a big hoops guy, too. So here they are back here, and I asked Dave about his role and what he does and what this coaching staff does. He said the thing that I've always liked about Jerry is that it's kind of everybody helping out in every area. You know, we sit down and talk around the table, and it isn't just, say, Dan Worthen talking about pitching. It's everybody talking about pitching. It's everybody talking about hitting. It's everybody talking about the entire team. Jerry gives us a lot of responsibility. He always did from day one when he hired me. So who knew, guys? I guess liking basketball really worked out for Dave Joust in the end, and now they're back together again.
Dave, who was the bench coach for Dave Tremblay in Baltimore the last 2 years, before that in L.A. with Grady Little, so he's had a lot of experience in his current post. 2-2 to McLeod, and it's taken high, 3-2. McLeod has taken a call third strike and flied to center 0 for 2. Takahashi with a 3-2, and he strikes out McLeod. Fastball from Takahashi, who's fanned the first 2 men to face him. Takahashi came on when John Maine had to leave because of injury in the 4th.
Good spot. See, McLeod dips. See how he bends at his waist? You don't want to do that. When you drop your body and your swing, it's called dipping, and your bat goes with it. Everything goes with it, and you wind up swinging under the ball.
And your head moves.
Yep. Also, no dipping.
Here's Martin Prado. You certainly don't want to double dip.
Even with wings?
No double dip.
You want to play in the big leagues, no dipping. No dipping.
Chipper Jones on deck. He has the only RBI in this game. Prado has popped to third and drawn a walk 0 for 1.
Well, very similar to Kawakami. We showed it. There's a pause, flap of the glove, another pause, and then proceeds to the plate. Takahashi, you say to yourself, he doesn't really push off his back leg. Doesn't really need to. He's not trying to throw the ball hard. He's trying to hit spots.
Ronnie, have you ever been able to determine why it is that all these Japanese pitchers pause, not so much at the top, but in the middle of their delivery?
Well, I think that traditionally they're trying to make sure that 2 things. One, that they get
Prado strikes out.
That they get behind the baseball and they get a little more power behind their pitches. And secondly, especially Japanese pitchers in their culture, the culture of pitching is that no one wants to stand out with an original motion. Everyone wants to be the same. It's very important to be the same and not to be one of the flashy guys.
Do you think because Japanese athletes tend to be of smaller stature, that's why they feel as though they need to get that extra rev in the middle of their delivery to get that extra power?
Absolutely. I think that, those things are changing a little bit. But yes, the ability to maximize. Tom Seaver said it when he was here. He said that the ability for a pitcher to get all your energy through the plate. And I think the Japanese pitchers do it as well as anyone.
Chipper single to right center as a left-hand batter against Maine to drive in the only run of this game in the 3rd. Now batting right-handed. Chipper has 2 home runs this year, and both of them have come as a right-hand batter, which is a little bit unusual.
5 for 12 early in this season against lefties.
Ryan McCann on deck. Well, Takahashi's come in and struck out the first 3 batters to face him, but now behind on Chipper 2-0. And that's ball 3. Well, there are only 2 switch hitters in history who've hit more home runs than Chipper Jones, and they're both Hall of Famers. And we have a pretty good idea that Chipper might follow Mantle and Murray to Cooperstown. And that's ball 4. So Takahashi walks Chipper Jones on 4 pitches. Chipper overall is 39th now on the all-time home run list. It used to be that 400 was automatic for the Hall of Fame. Now I'm not even sure 500 is automatic.
Well, I'll tell you one 500 that's not going in. That's Rafael Palmeiro.
No.
So Chipper's at first with 2 down. And now Brian McCann, who has popped to third and drawn a walk 0 for 1. Facing the left-hander now, and takes low and away. Still waiting for word on John Maine, who was forced to leave the game because of injury in the 4th.
Chief, this is interesting. Against the left-hander now, Takahashi, the outfield is straight up. You don't have that real movement over to the right side with the center fielder.
Grounded right at Castillo, but he boots it. Still has time, though, with McCann running, and throws him out to end the inning. So Takahashi works through a hitless 5th. We're halfway through. Jeff Francoeur will get to turn it back to the Mets in the bottom of the 5th inning, looking to get their offense revved up, down 1-0. scoring early in games.
What was that Elton John show? I've seen that picture too. Whatever it was. On a Yellow Brick Road album.
That's right. I was thinking more Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. We have all been here before.
Seen that picture too.
Davis, Francoeur, and Barajas for the Mets in the home fifth. Ike grounded out to first his first time, and the high curveball makes it 2-0. Genshin Kawakami has not walked a batter, struck out 3, and been a hit in the count for most of the night. Braves will throw out a quality starting pitcher every day. Davis fouls one off the left side, and that goes out of play. Tomorrow the Mets will face Jair Jurgens, who struggled a kind of a rough start.
Yeah, he missed a little bit of spring training because he had some shoulder stiffness, so maybe going through a little dead arm period because he is a good pitcher. He's going to break out.
And then young Tommy Hanson will pitch against Mike Pelfrey. That turns into a marquee matchup on Sunday night. Throw in the veterans Tim Hudson and Derek Lowe, and you've got yourself quite a rotation, even if Lowe and Jurgens' numbers don't reflect that early in the year. Funny, the only guy the Braves have scored for this year is Derek Lowe. He's made 4 starts, and they've scored 35 runs. They've scored just 32 runs in their other 11 games.
As Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, talked to Roger before the game, and he said that of all the pitchers on the staff, he goes, Lowe's a sinker ball pitcher. You'd think he would throw to contact. And he goes, he's the one pitcher on the staff that doesn't want to throw to contact.
Wow.
And they're trying to get him to throw to contact.
Well, Roger threw to contact, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Great ground ball pitcher, except the penalty. So,
yeah, I remember that. Center field.
Still hurts.
Yep. Ike hits one to deep right field. Back goes Hayward for a look. That ball is out of here. Ike Davis's first major league home run, and he crushed it. And the game is tied at 1. And they've already retrieved the baseball as Ike Davis crosses the plate from his first major league home run trot.
Well, Ronnie, we talked about him kind of stepping a little bit, not in the bucket, just not directly in. There's the ball. Mike Herbst, assistant trainer, and Kawakami made a mistake, got that ball middle in, and he just dropped the barrel on it, and this was a rocket. Wants it away, watch, oh boy, see ya. He got it.
He hit that ball over the bullpen as Francoeur hits a sharp ground ball right at Prado, and that's the first out.
It's quite a shot.
He didn't quite make it to the bridge, but this is a really well-hit ball.
Well, we heard a lot about Mr. Hayward before this game. First shot across the bow was by the Mets rookie, Ike Davis.
He had 2 home runs in AAA this year, and that one, it's got to be 420, 430 feet out where he crushed that ball.
He's got a bright future. I like his stroke.
That's what used to say, that's where the big boys hit him.
Yep.
Well, you know, we've talked about the fact that here the Mets and Braves both presenting big-time prospects, #1 draft picks, Hayward against Davis. And Hayward's first big league home run was crushed. That came in his first major league at bat. And now Barajas hits one deep to left. Back goes Cabrera. Back onto the warning track. Near the wall, he makes the catch. Ball just stayed in the ballpark as Barajas made a bid for his 4th of the year. A long second out.
Got under it just too much.
The wind knocked that ball down, too. Wind is blowing left to right tonight.
That was his pitch. It just got in on him just a tiny bit.
Now Takahashi will bat for the first time. We don't have numbers, but Takahashi and Kawakami know each other real well. They've both pitched for a decade in the Japanese Central League. Kawakami for the Chinichi Dragons and Takahashi for the Yomiuri Giants.
Well, here's the swing, hands high, brings them down. Good balance. A little bit out, not that much out in front, but he got the barrel out.
And Takahashi has himself a base hit.
So it's an inning of firsts. First home run for Ike Davis, first major league hit, and his first at bat for Isanori Takahashi. And another baseball for the trophy case. They're gonna run out of balls. Make sure you keep those balls straight. Mike Herbst gets another one.
He just kind of serves his fastball away out there to left field. No, didn't overswing.
It's a little different swing than the side shot of Ike Davis's swing.
It's like one of those golf shots, Ronnie, where you can't follow through those little short little.
He looked like he was swinging with an oar.
Now he's buttoning his jacket at first base. I'm trying to make sure that he puts the right baseball in the right locker when this thing is over. Here's Pagan, who's 0 for 2 tonight. 1-1 ball game in the 5th. And Pagan takes ball 1.
Gary, he'll be able to tell the Davis ball is square right now.
450 feet, they're saying, the estimated distance on the Ike Davis home run. That's a long poke. Pagan pops it up. Infante angling over. Now the wind grabs it, and Infante stays with it to end the inning. But Ike Davis's first big league home run, and it was big league in every respect. As tied the game at 1. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by announcing the health information team at the Health and Wellness Center at Citi Field. Brought to you by North Shore LIJ and the Katz Institute for Women's Health. Well, Ike Davis has excited the crowd with a tape measure home run, his first in the major leagues. Good Friday night crowd gathered here at Citi Field for the first meeting of the year with the Braves, and Ike has made his mark. Now Jason Hayward will try and make his. John Maine struck him out in both of his at-bats. Now he'll face the left-hander Isanori Takahashi here in the 6th. And Hayward takes a strike. Most RBIs, first 15 games before age 21. Only Ted Williams had more than Hayward has managed. We saw Reyes is right up there. Reyes, remember, had a grand slam in his first week in the big leagues. Anaheim. He spent 1 day in the big leagues as a 19-year-old. Second day in the majors, turned 20. 1-2 to Hayward.
Guys, a couple of the New York media went over to Jason Hayward today and said, "Hey, Jason, you have a minute?" And he said, "Actually, I have until 5 o'clock. This was at 4:10. So he was more than willing to talk, and he goes down here on strikes. Hayward down, striking out 3 times in tonight's game, and Takahashi's on fire. But the Braves, although he's having a disappointing game tonight, just couldn't stop raving about him. But Hayward himself, I said, "What's this been like for you?" He said, "I'm having fun. I've had a chance to meet a lot of nice people." And I said, "Well, you've had so many great moments already. What has been maybe one of the better moments for you, one of the better at-bats for you?" You know what he cited? He cited a bases-loaded walk in San Diego. I said, "Really?" And I said, "Well, you had a walk against Halladay the other day. That was pretty good." He said, "Yeah, but this was bases loaded. It brought a run in." I mean, he's a real thinker. You could tell that from talking with him. Just having a rough night tonight, guys.
Level-headed kid. His parents both went to Dartmouth, which is where they met, and he clearly has been raised right. 0-2 to Arakinski.
Boy, Bill Hahn has given that little bit on the outside corner on the knees to Takahashi against the left-handers. Keep pounding that spot.
It was Hinsky back. Hinsky thought he might have been hit by it. And, well, we don't know what has befallen John Maine, and we don't know what impact it might have on his next start. But this might be an audition by Isanori Takahashi for a possible turn in the rotation if Maine can't go. Try and find out more as the evening goes along.
Well, Takahashi's doing a great job. I don't know if I'd want to put him in the rotation. Then you'd have 4 left-handers in the rotation: Perez, Neese, and Santana.
That's a good point. And Hinsky went around, strike 3. That is 5 strikeouts for Takahashi of the 7 batters he's faced. 2 out. Let's check in with Chris Carlin. He's standing by for a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. That's what happens when a knuckleball doesn't knuckle. Melky Cabrera takes ball 1.
Charlie Hager, is that his name?
Yep. Dodgers, of course, will be in here next week. Hager should start one of those games. 2-0 to Cabrera, who has flied to left and grounded out to second. Takahashi has just been outstanding against a Braves team that is struggling offensively right now. Cabrera batting right-handed for the first time tonight. Melky just 1 for 16 as a right-hand batter this year. Two-one. Synced on that fastball. 2-2.
Threw this ball right by him, Keith.
Swung under it.
2-2 to Melky Cabrera. In there for a call, strike 3. 6 strikeouts for Isanori Takahashi. He strikes out the side in the 6th inning. Takahashi rolling. Tie game going to the bottom of the 6th. Oh, baby. Here's your Mets' upcoming schedule. Remember, all Mets games on SNY are available in HD, presented by IOTV. And if you're in the car, listen to every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Day game tomorrow on Pix 11. We'll take the day off Sunday.
You got the weekend
of the series.
You got the weekend off at SAG, right?
Saturday, Sunday off.
Nice.
I need it.
There are your probable starters. Jonathan Meese, who certainly has pitched well enough to have a win, will go up against Jair Jurgens tomorrow afternoon.
You wouldn't have thought that the ski cap night would be a good idea this afternoon, but it's gotten a little chilly here.
Perfect night for it. Luis Castillo leads off in the home sixth inning and takes a strike. By the way, speaking of tomorrow's day game, Ralph Kiner will be in with us for the first time during the regular season.
Outstanding.
Always a treat. Castillo is 0 for 2, fly deep to center and grounded to second. 1-1. With Reyes and Bay to follow here in the sixth. And there are those ski caps on lovely heads right there. Loop, shallow left. On comes Melky Cabrera. Shoestring grab, and he makes it. Beautifully done by Melky Cabrera, playing shallow and making the diving catch to deny Castillo.
Playing shallow and way down the left field line, and that's the only reason why he had a chance for this ball.
Well, that's two great catches against Castillo tonight, one by McLeod and one by Cabrera.
Well,
now Jose Reyes, who had a pop fly that Melky Cabrera could not catch in the fourth inning, that fell for a double, and he rips one down the right field line, but foul. 0-1 to Reyes.
And again, this outfield for the Braves against Reyes. Look at this.
It's like they're playing against a pitcher.
Good Lord, look at McLeod. That is extremely shallow.
I'll tell you what, Keith, it's fascinating to watch teams come in here, not just against Reyes, but just in general, and figure out where to position their outfielders in this huge expanse. I was talking to Jeff Francoeur about this yesterday, and he said when he first got here, he was playing a normal depth, and he found there was so much room to run that now he's just decided to play deep against everybody. But different teams have different ideas here. Reyes drives one toward the gap in right center field. This has triple written all over it. Reyes on his way to second as it hits the Geico sign. Reyes digging for third. He'll make it easily with a stand-up triple. Well, his first day in the number 3 hole, he has a pop fly double and now a triple, his second of the year.
Well, this park is really tailor-made for Jose. Just hit line drives. Boy, there he goes.
Got on top of that high pitch, didn't he, Keith?
Yes, he did. And this is what he has to do, and he can just run forever in this ball yard. I mean, this is a stand-up. They had no shot at getting it. I have a hunch we're going to see a few inside the park home runs before we're through here.
All you need is that ball hitting the fence at an angle and coming away from an outfielder, and Reyes will run all day.
Or one outfielder diving in the gap.
So the go-ahead run at third, the infield in for Jason Bay with one out. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Good pitch by Kawakami to start him off. Jason has flied out to left and hit a sharp line drive right at Chipper Jones.
Cabrera backed up a bit, but still, that's not a deep left field off a power hitter such as Bay.
And Bay drives one deep to right center. McLeod over in the gap. He won't get there. And that goes to the wall. Reyes scores the go-ahead run. Bay's around second. He's trying for third. Prado's relay throw. Not in time. Back-to-back triples for Reyes and Bay, and it's 2-1 New York.
Nice base running.
Boy, did Jason Bay need that.
Well, I told you I liked the way he was swinging the bat, and I thought he was coming out of it. And that's a great sign right there. When you can go the other way and drive that ball, that means you're waiting. And watch Bay hustled all the way. Made his own decision. Never hesitated.
Nice choice to push the envelope there with only one out.
Second triple of the year for Bay. And so the infield has to stay in now with David Wright up. David has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. 2-1 New York.
Well, we'll see in the IOTV pitch differential where Kawakami missed. Usually where we see the miss, more of the middle of the plate, and the ball was up.
One on the right and knocked down by McCann as Wright checked his swing.
Now that was a pitch down the pipe, Ron, and up that Bay could have pulled. But you see, he worked it the other way. When you're in a slump, you're out in front. You want to work that way until you get your rhythm back.
Jason had just 3 triples all of last year playing for the Red Sox. He's already got 2 playing in this yard. And the curveball swung and missed, 2-1.
Side view. Right up at the plate. That's perfect. Wow. That's perfect. And that top hand comes over.
And David hits one in the air to center field. That'll get the run in at least. Back goes McLeod onto the track, and he runs it down. They can walk on in on a 405-foot sacrifice fly by David Wright, and it's 3-1 New York. And the reworked heart of the batting order for the New York Mets, producing a couple of runs here in the 6th inning.
To do that little backup slider on the inside corner, and he hasn't been. He should junk that pitch. He's missed over the middle so many times with that against the right-handers, Ron. Yep. And that's a fat pitch when you leave it out over the plate. Loaiza was the one that had the good.
That's right.
That threw when he was with Washington.
Esteban Loaiza.
Yes, he had a good one that backed up inside.
Now Ike Davis, who homered his last time up. Sorry, Keith.
It's okay. My fault. I was yapping too much.
Ike hit one nearly to the bridge in right center field, 450 feet away for his first major league home run in the 5th inning. These runs belong to Isunori Takahashi. The word on John Maine we just received: muscle spasms and pain in his left elbow. And that's what forced him out of the game. He is listed day to day. (3-0) to Davis. The Mets have had a habit of getting their offense cracking right about this point in games. There's a strike, 3-1.
Well, here's the home run back in the 5th. This was a bomb. That's pretty impressive.
Pops this one up in foul ground. Chipper coming over near the dugout.
Oh, boy.
Wow. What was that?
Geez, you call an error on that or no?
Did he misjudge that, or did he think McCann was going to be?
I think he looked at McCann too late and then couldn't pick the ball back up. Check this out. He checks him out. It's too. Well, there he checked him again and he lost sight of it. The wind played tricks with it.
He was checking to see how much room he had.
That's got to be his ball anyway. That's his ball all the way. He knows it.
I think that should be an error, don't you?
Could be.
They've not yet called one. And they have now called it. Error on Chipper Jones. To prolong the time at bat. 3-2 to Ike Davis. Foul back.
Good cut. Kawakami playing with a little fire there, throwing that ball middle in.
Probably trying to get him through this inning because he'll be the 2nd place hitter in the 7th.
88 pitches now for Kawakami. And Davis fouls off another one. 8 pitches in this at bat and still going. Castillo was robbed of a hit to start the inning on a diving play by Melky Cabrera. Otherwise, this could be an even bigger inning for New York. Jeff Francoeur hoping for a turn on deck. Again, the 3-2 to Davis, and he walked him. And so the inning continues. First walk of the night issued by Kawakami on his 90th pitch. Roger McDowell's going to take a trip out to the mound to talk to Kawakami. They've got a left-hander up in the bullpen. that is Johnny Venters, who has been very impressive in his first couple of big league outings. One of 3 lefties in that Atlanta bullpen. Of course, their closer, Billy Wagner, is a lefty. Get inside an opinion on tonight's Mets-Braves game, plus up-to-the-minute Mets info, insider news, and exclusive behind-the-scenes video on Mets blog presented by Verizon, featured on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Here's Frank Core. We talked about the Mets getting their offense revved late. The Mets have scored 61% of their runs from the 6th inning or later.
Wow. That'll go up.
Third time around, the batting order is the charm. Frank Core has doubled and grounded out 1 for 2.
Well, Reyes might have started the game as the third place hitter, but ignited this inning the way he traditionally does, getting on base with a triple.
Well, he said he wanted to be the same guy in a different spot in the order. So far, so good. Bouncing away from McCann, but he kept the ball in front of him, and Davis stays put. 1-1 to Frank Core. In on Frank Core, and it's 1-2. Reyes and Hojo talking hitting, talking switch hitter language. Saying, when do I get those RBI chances as a number 3 hitter? It's the 1-2. Reached for and popped up off the right side, heading toward the seats and out of play.
Now, Gary, is that one of the things they brought over from Shea, or it simulates?
Well, no, I think it's actually the same skyline that was
cool.
at the top of the scoreboard at Shea. You know, there's never not a line out there. Here's the 1-2 from Kawakami, and it's down 2-2. Last time the Mets had back-to-back triples, September of last year, Corey Sullivan and Angel Pagan were the culprits. Tonight it was Reyes and Bay. Two and two to Frank Core.
Frank Core seems like he's swinging a little better tonight too, Keith.
A little bit better. It looks like Kawakami just kind of looks like he just lost his location. He was locating so well in the first 3 innings, Ron, and it just seemed like he's just slow. Gradually, as the games progressed, he's lost his sharpness.
About to throw his 97th pitch of the night, and Frank Core fouls off another one.
Kawakami to me is one of those guys, Keith, when you go 3 or 4 times through the lineup, you start to get a good idea of that one pitch he talked about, that inside kind of cutter he throws to the right-hander. Start to measure that change up a little. His fastball's pretty true.
Yep. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Frank Core. And it's wide, ball 3. So Jeff has already drawn 8 walks this year, well ahead of his pace from last season. Works a 3-2 count. So Davis will be in motion. And it's pulled foul. And they'll do it one more time.
Doesn't seem like he's fooling too many hitters lately. The last couple innings, Ronnie.
I was just mentioning to our producer that Mr. McLeod has moved back about 4 or 5 steps from where he was earlier in the game.
Enough balls hit over your head, that'll chasten you. Davis gets set to run again with Hinsky playing behind him. 3-2 to Francoeur. And one more time coming. So Kawakami up over 100 pitches now for the night.
Well, Kawakami knows one thing. If he loses Francoeur, he's out. He's out of the ball game. And he's going to be pinch hit for next inning, but every pitcher wants to finish an inning, right, Ron?
Right, absolutely.
You don't want to be given the hook in the middle of an inning.
Well, you got to think to yourself, I hold it 3-1, maybe my guys come back and score a few.
Exactly.
The 11th pitch of the at-bat, and Francoeur hits one off the end of the bat that eats up Infante and goes into center field. Davis winds up at third. Francoeur aboard at first. That ball had so much spin on it coming off the end of the bat, and Infante couldn't handle it.
It's going to be ruled in error. Should be ruled in error. Off the end of the bat, sidewinder. Tough play always. In between hop. Could have maybe gotten the body in front of the ball a little more. Kind of a slow break.
Second error of the inning. Third of the game for the Braves. Davis's at bat was prolonged by an error, and he drew a walk, and now Francoeur reaching on an error. And a chance for Barajas with first and third and 2 out. Barajas hit one to the fence in left field that Melky Cabrera caught his last time up. He's 0 for 2. That's about hit the Braves 6-4. They've cashed 2 runs here in the 6th to grab the lead, and now looking for more. And Rod takes a strike. Barajas has 3 home runs. No catcher in baseball has more over the first almost 3 weeks of the season. Takahashi, who's now pitcher of record on the long side and already has a hit, is on deck. Curveball popped up. Shallow left. Infante out to call. Side retired. Mets settle for 2 runs in the 6th inning. They do it thanks to back-to-back triples. Reyes had the first one, and Bay followed in kind with a triple of his own. And the Mets lead 3-1 after 6. Welcome to the family, Kyle. Wonder how he'll deal with playing on a green field instead of a blue one in Boise.
That's right. He's from Jersey, right?
Is he?
Yeah, I think he is from New Jersey.
Kyle Wilson from Boise State, Jets' #1 draft pick last night.
I think last year he returned 2 or 3 punts for touchdowns for Boise State.
Omar Infante leads off in the 7th inning against Isunori Takahashi, who has been brilliant in relief. Takahashi has faced 8 batters, struck out 6 of them, issued the 1 walk. The only fair ball hit against him, Brian McCann grounded out. Infante is 2 for 2, and he takes a fastball for a strike. John Maine forced to leave the game in the 4th inning because of muscle spasms and pain in his non-pitching elbow, and listed it day-to-day, but who knows what his status is for his next start. That was Matt Diaz, who just saw on deck for the Braves to pinch hit for Kawakami. And the breaking ball down, 2-1 to Infante. Maine went 3 2/3, allowed a run on 4 hits, appeared to be getting himself together, but yet another physical issue befalling Maine and knocking him out of the game. And Takahashi taking over and taking the game over. Infante rockets one down the left field line. That's a fair ball into the corner. And Infante into second base with a leadoff double, and Infante getting a chance to start tonight with Escobar benched is 3 for 3.
Well, it gets a 2-1 fastball. It was pretty much in, but you can almost guess that fastball is going to be inside. Started it early, hit it off that wall for a double.
So that'll get the tying run to the plate for the Braves. First hit off Takahashi. And now Matt Diaz to pinch hit for Kawakami. Diaz, who's been cast as a leadoff hitter the last couple of days, which is strange. Hitting just 167, but he lives to hit off lefties. See his career pinch hitting numbers. And the slow curve from Takahashi stays high, 1-0. 65. I think that's as far as we've seen him dial one back. Well, something happened tonight in Major League Baseball that had not happened yet this year. And it seems like it took a lot longer than usual. As Diaz lifts one to left, and Bay is right there waiting. That's the first out. The first rain out of the 2010 season. Florida at Colorado tonight.
At Colorado?
Rain. And they said rain, not snow.
Oh, that's good.
Almost 3 weeks into the Major League season.
That's unheard of.
Rain out.
That's unheard of. In fact, you schedule all those off days to take a place in case you need them with a rain out.
Exactly.
So that means that Jorge Cantu's 20-game hitting streak dating back to last year remains intact for another day. Here's Nate McLouth, who's 0 for 3 and has struck out twice tonight, including his first meeting with Takahashi in the 5th inning. And boxed around by Barajas, and almost veering too far off second was Infante. He was almost in no man's land.
You know, we always talk about these catchers that, you know, when they get on base, of course, a little burdensome for him. Infante with this nice lead, secondary lead, and then thought better of it. They are losing by 2. Good thinking, Omar.
Yeah, they definitely want to play it safe.
But Barajas and Blanco both challenged to run quickly, very quick behind the plate.
Well, it's like a lot of third basemen who are not great runners but have that great first step quickness. Brooks Robinson comes to mind immediately. Greatest third baseman of all time, and he couldn't run a lick. Takahashi keeping it in on McLouth, and it's 2-0. That's Bullpen getting cranked up. Would it surprise you if I told you that Fernando Nieve is up at the bullpen?
Again?
Every day. Team Prado on deck. The Mets have played 16 games before today, and Nieve's been in 11 of them, so it's a pretty good bet on any given day. Well, now it's 3-0 to McLouth.
You've had your perpetual Pedro. You're going to have to come up with a name for Fernando.
There's Fernando, along with Raul Valdez, the left-hander. Frequent Fernando.
Yeah.
McLeod taking all the way and a strike.
I used to love this count
2-0, 3-1, late in the ball game, 2-run lead. They don't want to give up a home run, so what are they going to do? They're going to run a fastball away and just go right in, sit on it, and go right in that left center field corner. Certain situations you can kind of predict, and you can play right along with them.
Well, when you're slumping like McLeod is right now, never quite goes that way, does it?
Well, he's got a lot of.
Seems like a very mechanical hitter.
Yeah,
by the way,
he does. A very mechanical hitter. Got a lot of flaws in his swing. A lot of things can break down in his swing.
3-2 from Takahashi. Lifted foul.
He's another dipper. He dips.
Takashi Saito is up in the Braves bullpen alongside Johnny Venters, the left-hander. Got a lot of experience in that Braves bullpen with Wagner and Saito. Three and two to McLeod with Infante at second and one out. And he bounces that one foul.
Well, they have a lot of experience down there with guys that have pitched under the heat, under the gun.
Well, the Braves actually have three pitchers on their staff, Wagner and Saito, and also Derek Lowe, who have 80 or more career saves, and no other major league team has three pitchers with as many as 40 or more saves. There's Billy.
He already got the hunting beard. April.
This will be the eighth pitch of the at-bat to McLeod. And he fouls off another one. The official number handed to us by our ace statistician. 234 games in the major leagues before the first rainout this year.
Wow.
We have been very fortunate with the weather.
Well, the fields are different now. You know, the way they put the drainage and the sand and everything under the base of the turf is just, you know, it's different than our day where you'd have lakes out there.
And a breaking ball in there for a call, strike three, and McLeod knew it. 7 strikeouts in relief for Takahashi. And the third time McLeod has been struck out tonight.
Well, this is a curveball to hit right here if you stay in. It's just right down Broadway.
No, he threw 4 fastballs in a row and just McLeod's still looking for a fastball.
Three strikeouts from McLeod.
Now Martin Prado takes one in the dirt for ball one. Trying to find the Mets club record for strikeouts by a reliever in the game. There goes the runner from second, and Infante steals third without a throw.
Well, it would have been better for him to do that with one out.
But he might not have been able to with one out.
Yep. They're giving him lots of room.
One and one the count to Prado with Chipper Jones on deck. And Prado lines one into right field for a base hit, and that'll bring in a run. Infante trots in to score, and it cuts the Mets lead to 3-2.
Pretty good hitting by Prado. That was a good pitch. This pitch was knees outside, and I think it ran away from him off the plate.
He's turned into a very good hitter.
Yes, he has. Look at those eyes, just shooting it that way.
That is pretty good hitting right there.
So with it now a one-run ball game and Chipper Jones coming up, Takahashi will take his exit after a brilliant relief job. 3 innings, 7 strikeouts for Takahashi. And now the Mets will go to the bullpen again, looking to protect a one-run lead. Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX for your tickets now. Raul Valdez takes over the pitching for New York to face Chipper Jones with a tying run at first.
Chipper Jones has been really red hot from the right side of the plate. Heavy task here for Valdez.
Valdez last pitched 2 nights ago and gave up 2 hits and a walk in 2/3 of an inning. Chipper tonight has driven in a run with a base hit and drawn a walk 1 for 2. We were wondering about the Mets record for strikeouts by a reliever. The record is 9 set by Tug McGraw back in 1971, but quite an effort by Takahashi. 7 strikeouts in a 3-inning stint. And he's pitcher of record on the long side. Good stop by Barajas with the slide. 2-0. Chipper has traditionally been a much better left-hand hitter than right, but not so far this year. Both his home runs have come as a right-hand batter.
Keep it away.
And Valdez falls behind 3-0. Behind Chipper is a left-hand hitter in Brian McCann. And then another left-hand batter in Jason Hayward.
You let him swing the bat here, Keith? There's a lefty-lefty matchup next.
I hadn't taken. Oh, baby. He had a rip.
If I'm Bobby Cox and I've got Chipper Jones against the New York Mets, I'm always letting him swing.
Oh, boy. What a cut there he had. I don't know why I said no. I'm always one for favor of a 3-0 swing.
You're just trying to be contrary.
Fastball away.
On 3-1, Chipper lays off, and it's on the outside corner. Good location by Valdez. 3-2.
Chipper was looking middle in. You see where he stepped his front foot. He was looking. Watch the front foot. See, he opened up right there. Look middle in. Now he'll go to hitting.
Now Prado will be running with 3-2 and 2 out, carrying the tying run at first. 3-2. Breaking ball looped into shallow right. Castillo over to make the play. Side retired. Valdez comes on, came back from 3-0 to get Chipper Jones and keep the Mets in the lead. 7th inning stretch at Citi Field, 3-2 New York. The official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the New York Mets, and by Suzuki and the amazing new Kazashi Sports Sedan. Part of the big crowd here at Citi Field on a Friday night. Here's your AT&T trivia question for tonight. What 8 players on the Mets and Braves, I guess right now, were drafted in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft? We've already talked about 2 tonight, Ike Davis and Jason Hayward. See if you can get the other 6. Takashi Saito, 40-year-old right-hander, comes on in relief for Atlanta.
Probably know him as Met fans when he pitched for the Los Angeles Dodgers when he was the closer there. Jonathan Broxton, who's now their closer, used to set up Saito in Los Angeles.
Frank Catalanato pinch hitting for Raul Valdez, who got the out that he needed, retiring Chipper Jones in the top of the inning. And Frank fouls one back. Catalanato 2 for 14 to start the season. I wonder what the Major League record is for most Japanese pitchers in one game. Kawakami, Takahashi, and now Saito. And on the fists of Catalanato when he fouls it off. Angel Pagan on deck, and then Luis Castillo here in the bottom of the 7th. Saito pitched last year in Boston, helping to set up for Jonathan Papelbon. And the shortstop Infante in front of that grinder bounces the throw to first, and Hinsky digs it out for the first out. We're talking about Saito setting up for Papelbon last year. There are only 2 pitchers in Major League history who have more innings pitched than the sum of the hits and walks allowed and have more strikeouts than innings pitched. So a whip of less than 1 and better than a strikeout per inning. 2 pitchers in Major League history.
Wow.
They are Takashi Saito and Jonathan Papelbon.
Wow.
Jeez. Isn't that amazing? .306 strikeouts, 251 in the 3rd innings, 251 hits and walks for Saito.
The stats Mastersons over there with the Red Sox put them together.
See, now they're split up and everything's gone awry for the Red Sox. Now they've got Cameron on the DL, and Ellsbury's going to be out for a while. They've got problems there. Bounce toward the hole, base hit for Pagan. So Angel, who had been 0 for his last 11, cracks that with a 1-out single.
Nice hitting by Angel.
Well, we didn't give you much time to think about this, but here's the answer to the AT&T trivia question. We know Mike Pelfrey's in that group. And Chipper Jones and Billy Wagner and Troy Glaus and David Wright and Jeff Francoeur.
Troy Glaus was the tough one. He has struggled this year.
Glaus was first round pick by the Angels way back when. And Chipper even further way back when. Remember when Chipper first came up, he was a shortstop.
That's right.
And then he messed up his knee his first year and missed the entire season.
I remember when he was drafted. Only reason I remember is because I said, boy, is that a good baseball name. Chipper Jones.
Well, the year that he was drafted, he was not considered the best player in the draft. Remember the pitcher from Texas, Todd Van Poppel.
Oh, yes.
But everybody thought he was going to go to college at the University of Texas, and so the Braves didn't take him number 1. Chipper Jones was a name that came out of left field. No pun intended, since he once played left field. And Van Poppel, I think, got picked 14th by Oakland.
Yes, they did, and they signed him pretty quickly to a huge contract.
Feliciano up in the bullpen for New York.
Scott Boras' client.
That's right. I was a teammate of Todd Van Poppel.
And they brought him up too quick, didn't they?
Yeah, he just couldn't get it all together. You know, another guy could throw 95, but hadn't discovered the art of pitching yet.
It brings back the memory of a kid in Texas, David Clyde.
David Clyde was 17 when the Rangers brought him right out of high school to the majors.
And we had someone in the booth yesterday with Mr. Cranepool. It was up early.
Pagan with 1 steal this year.
You know, Angel, when he takes that lead off first, he'll open up that right hip, almost like he's facing second base. Give him a little advantage. See that? Turns that foot and opens up that right hip.
Does that make it harder for him to retreat to first?
No, he's on his toes. It really opens him up to take that big first step. I like it. I like it.
You guys at home, he's opened up, but that will not be the first foot that moves. You want to cross over with that left foot through that right foot and on to second.
And Castillo takes low, and it's 3-0.
It's like Saito's a little bit bothered by Pagan at first base.
Well, Castillo's been robbed twice of base hits tonight. Once by McLeod and once by Cabrera. Jose Reyes hoping for an RBI opportunity in the 3 spot on deck.
And that outfield defense, the center and left fielders, boy, are they shallow, particularly Cabrera and left. Wow.
That enabled him to make a diving catch coming in toward the infield last time against Castillo, who takes a strike, 3-1.
Look at that. Jeez.
You got to lead by a run here. Would you like to see Pagan move and Louis hit a ground ball?
Absolutely.
Find a hole.
Castillo, who often takes strikes on 3-1. See if he's swinging here. And he takes ball 4, and the Mets have 2 men on. So now Reyes gets to make like a real number 3 hitter with a couple of men on base. He's already had a double and a triple tonight and scored a run, but it's the first time he's come up with anybody on. Roger McDowell will take a trip to the mound to talk to Saito before he goes after Reyes, who tripled his last time up.
Jose gets a fastball out over the plate, and that is all he needs to do. Line drives in this ballpark, stand up triple.
Reyes on this homestand is now 8 for 16. So he has got his season going, starting with that 4-hit game against the Cubs on Tuesday.
Oh, after walking Louis, good chance here for Reyes to look for that first pitch fastball. Saito might want to get ahead of him with his first pitch.
Reyes 0 for 2 in his career against Saito. First and second and 1 out, and Saito takes a look back at Pagan. Well, this is one of the things that Jerry liked also about this group at the top of the order with Pagan and Castillo and Reyes. You got a ton of speed.
Yep. No question. Pagan every bit as good a base stealer as Reyes. Both have great speed, great explosiveness, great first step quickness.
And Reyes attacks that first pitch fastball and fouls it back.
And Jose's swinging the bat really well and aggressively.
Jason Bay, who drove a triple to right center his last time up, is on deck. In his career, Pagan has only attempted to steal third 4 times.
Stay put.
1-1 to Reyes. All that speed forces the middle infielders to shorten up a little more than normal at double play down.
That's right. And they just might not get to a ball like they normally would. Speed does put pressure on the defense.
One and one to Reyes. And the breaking ball misses. 2-1.
That's a pretty good breaking ball here. I thought he was going to get the call.
I thought it broke around the plate.
Yeah.
Reyes looking back to Bill Hahn to make sure. 2-1 from Saito, and it's ball 3. So now Saito digging a hole for himself. 2 on and 1 out, with the Mets leading by a run, and he's behind 3-1 on Reyes with Bay on deck.
Boy, go to ripping, Jose. You're in that 3 spot here. Break this game open.
Reyes pops it up. Infield fly rule will be called. The batter is out, but the wind beginning to take it now, and Chipper drops it. The runners will advance. Reyes is out on the infield fly, but the runners advance to second and third. And now breaking for the plate, Pagan, nobody's covering, and he scores! Pagan steals a run!
Jeez.
4-2 New York!
Infield fly was on, but the runners can advance as they will.
Once the ball is dropped, they don't have to go, but they can. And they took off because that ball rolled away once Chipper dropped it. The wind was a factor there, but then while the Braves argued, nobody covered home, and Pagan stole a run.
I just don't believe this. Chipper didn't want it. And then he comes in and takes it away from the shortstop and Bonte. And then no one covers home.
And they don't have to tag Reyes. He's out anyway.
What's Hinsky doing?
I don't think they I think this is the problem. I think there are a lot of major league players, maybe a majority, who don't understand the infield fly rule.
Go. Look at Chip. Go. Chip Hale telling him to go.
I just seen some bonehead plays this homestand.
Now Bay fouls one back.
Nice cut. Now, how are you going to rule that?
So it's an infield fly. Reyes is out on the infield fly.
F5?
It's an F5, but then it's an error on Chipper Jones for dropping the ball, allowing the runners to advance, and then Pagan scores on a fielder's choice.
Okay.
So a put out for Chipper, but also an error on Chipper, and then a fielder's choice scores the run. 0-1 to Bay. And the slider low away 1-1. Do you think that's a fair comment that a lot of players do not understand the infield fly rule?
I think it's absolutely a fair comment, but it's your job to know it. I mean, come on.
Where's the pitcher in this? With home plate big, Hinsky.
He's standing in the middle of the infield right behind McCann.
I don't know what Hinsky was thinking.
There's the pitcher right there.
Goodness.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Reyes is out once that ball goes up and they call the infield fly rule.
And the umpires scream infield fly.
Look at Bobby.
Oh, he's hot.
Of course he's upset. Why shouldn't he be? That's just a lack of knowledge of the rules. They tripled to right centers last time up. Castillo at second and 2 down. And the slider off the plate, 3-1.
Play from McCann, very simple. As soon as the ball is dropped by Chipper and goes away, McCann gets the ball, puts it in his back pocket, gives it to the pitcher, calls time. That's it.
That's it.
Second and third.
Call time.
2 outs.
Call timeout.
Oh, man.
I don't believe it.
Three and 1 to Bay. And it's popped up foul. Just to refresh our viewers, this is why the infield fly rule exists. With runners at first and second or bases loaded and less than 2 out, a pop-up that can be handled by an infielder is called an infield fly to protect the offense. Because the theory is that if you did not call the infield fly rule, the fielder could let the ball drop and get easy force plays at third and second.
Yes, correct.
So it protects the offense. But once the ball drops, the defense has got to know that the runners can advance at their own risk, which is exactly what Pagan and Castillo did. You don't see it often, but it certainly played to the Mets' advantage here that the Braves didn't know the rule. Bay draws a walk, and he's on base for a second straight time. Second walk issued by Saito. I think part of the confusion is that, and I'm not sure whether this came into play here, the runners, once the ball drops, do not have to tag up. They can just advance. It's not as though the ball were caught and they have to go back to the base after it's caught to be tagged up, because that appeared to be what the Braves, what McCann especially, was arguing when he went over to first base.
Except Hinsky was not only tagged the bag, but then turned to tag Reyes, and that's when he lost the base runner.
And White lines one into center field, a base hit. Castillo around third, racing home. Here comes McCloud's throw to the plate, not in time. David White with an RBI single, and it's 5-2 New York. David White's second run batted into the night. So the Mets taking full advantage of the Braves' loose play.
And they've scored twice in the 7th inning.
Oh, David drove in one last night, too, so that's 3 RBI the last 2 ball games. Fastball up out over the plate. Nice throw by McLeod. 2 outs, Castillo on contact. You're not going to throw him out. Nice turn.
So the Mets with 2 in the 6th and now 2 in the 7th, and now Ike Davis with 2 out and 2 on. Davis cracked his first major league home run back in the 5th inning and takes the breaking ball inside from Saito. This all began with a 1-out single by Angel Pagan. Castillo coaxed a walk, and then Reyes hit the infield fly, and everything fell apart for Atlanta.
Well, when Saito looks back on this inning, he might remember the infield fly that was not caught, but it really was a couple of walks that led to giving up a couple of runs here.
Davis hit a 450-foot bomb over the bullpen in right center for his first big league home run of the 5th. Walked his last time up, and there's a strike, 1-2. 4 errors tonight for the Atlanta Braves, including 2 charged to Chipper Jones. He let a foul pop drop that led to Davis's walk in the 6th inning, and then dropped that infield fly that allowed the runners to advance here in the 7th. One-two. Just missed the corner. 2-2. Jeff Francoeur on deck. Tedious inning for Saito, who's already thrown 27 pitches. And Davis hits one over the mound. Charging is Infante. And the sidearm toss gets Davis to end the inning. But the Mets cash 2 runs thanks in part to the Braves messing up on the infield fly rule. Reyes with the pop-up. He's out. But somehow Pagan scores all the way from second. And the Mets lead 5-2. Feliciano will be the 3rd consecutive left-hander out of the Mets bullpen.
But Feliciano in his last game faced a ton of right-handed hitters, featured his changeup. Here is going to face McCann and Hayward. Probably counter with that good slider.
Feliciano worked an inning last night, got 2 outs in the 7th and 1 out in the 8th, but eventually was charged with a run. Brian McCann leads off in the top of the 8th. 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. You got 3 left-hand hitters due up: McCann, Hayward, and Hinsky, and that's why Feliciano is in the game here in the 8th. Been an ugly night for the Atlanta Braves, committing 4 errors in the field on the night when the Mets lost their starting pitcher in the 4th inning. But Mets have been able to score through the middle of the game. A run in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. 1-1 to McCann. John Maine leaving with muscle spasms and pain in his non-throwing, his left elbow. Went just 3 2/3, but Isanori Takahashi, 3 innings, 7 strikeouts in relief. Allowed a run on 2 hits, and Raul Valdez came on to get a big out in the 7th. And now Feliciano. Ooh, McCann got tied up inside, 1-2.
2 fastballs that ran away, and then this sinker came back in, down and in.
You don't see McCann look bad that often. Change up inside, 2-2. Is that a new wrinkle for Pedro, throwing that change up to lefty?
Yeah, I have not seen it.
That's a new wrinkle. All right.
Fernando Nieve back up in the bullpen. Nieve's got some catching up to do. He's not even close to the team leading appearances. Johnny Venter's up in the bullpen for the Braves. This is the 9th appearance for Feliciano. Nieve already has 11. Last year set a club record with 88 appearances. And McCann gets under one to center field. Pagan waits for it to come down. 1 away. Let's check in with Chris Carlin. He's standing by for a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Think he might be ready to go on a tear, Mr. Dunn? Just 1 home run before tonight.
That makes the Nats now 9-8 on the season. Off to a good start for Jim Riggleman.
Jason Hayward trying to avoid the golden sombrero in his first game in New York, and he takes ball 1. Struck out swinging twice against John Maine. Struck out looking against Takahashi in the 6th. 1-1 to Hayward. K swinging, K swinging, K looking. This game will humble everybody in time. 2-1 to Hayward. Jason Hayward was the 14th overall pick in 2007. The Braves will tell you he was the #1 player on their board, and they were shocked that he lasted till the 14th pick. To second base, so Hayward makes contact for the first time. Castillo throws him out, 2 away.
Hey guys, you're talking about the infield fly rule, and this may be a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it. You know, spring training, do all the drills, do the PFP. Do they go over rules? I mean, do they sit down and go over rules? Is that ever done once?
No. I remember Red Shandy's told me one time, you do know, Keith, that on a infield fly, runners can advance at their own risk. Yeah. And I said, yes, I knew the rule. And I said, okay, they read this. Okay, fine. You just assume that you know the batter's out. Period.
Like Gloss pinch hitting, banks one off Feliciano. Davis comes over to play it and gets the slow-footed Gloss to end the inning. Feliciano running off the field okay. It's a 1-3 putout and a 1-2-3 inning for Perpetual Pedro.
for the Dodgers here at Citi Field. Mets-Dodgers coverage begins with Subway pregame Monday at 6:30 p.m. only on SNY. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning at Citi Field. Troy Gloss stays in the game at first base after pinch hitting. And 25-year-old lefty Johnny Venters will come on to pitch.
Well, really, it's his first opportunity. His career really has been marked by injuries. Had Tommy John surgery, had some elbow tendonitis. Brought up just a week ago and has pitched 5 scoreless innings. He's been outstanding. Great sinker, slider.
Jeff Francoeur greets him with a long fly ball to center. Back goes McLeod onto the warning track to make the grab. Boy, the Mets have hit some clouts tonight. First pitch, Francoeur hits it 400 feet for a long out. 1 away.
Well, McLeod can control that center field. He can run. He's a good outfielder out there. Good center fielder.
Now Rod Barajas is 0 for 3 tonight. And Fernando Tatis has come out on deck to bat for Feliciano, which means that I guess K-Rod gets a chance for a conventional save opportunity tonight. So he's had 2 save chances this year, 1 in the 19th inning and 1 last night that required him to come out of the bases loaded in the 8th and get 5 outs. So if the Mets do not score here, then K-Rod would get your standard 3-run ho-hum save opportunity. 1-1 to Barajas.
Boy, that's a good sinker. See Barajas talking to McCann. That ball started in the middle of the plate, ended up off the plate.
There's Tatis on deck. Well, Venters has been a starter throughout his minor league career. That is a power sinker.
Wow.
1-2.
He's got the right pitching coach to help him out, I'll tell you that. Watch this sinker, Keith.
Yep.
It was like a screwball.
At 90.
Wow. Grounded toward third. Chipper reaching to his left. And throws out Barajas for the second out. Time to check in with Gary Apple. See what's coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night. Gary?
Gary, thank you so much. Both the Jets and the Giants making their second-round picks in the NFL draft. The Giants going for Linval Joseph, a defensive tackle out of East Carolina. The Jets picking Vladimir Dukas. He's an offensive lineman from UMass. Much more on the draft coming up when I see you tonight, fellas.
And we look forward to that, Gary. Thanks very much. Venters has retired the first 2 in the bottom of the 8th. Now Fernando Tatis will get the pinch hitting assignment. Tatis hit a pinch hit home run earlier on this homestand. And he takes ball 1 from Venters. And there's K-Rod, who said not only was he happy to go 5 outs last night, he would be happy to go 2 1/3 if necessary. 2-0 to Tatis. Fernando takes a rip. 2-1. Looking ahead to the 9th inning, the Braves will have the lower third of their order due up. Cabrera, Infante, and the pitcher spot. And the left-handed bat on their bench is Brooks Conrad. He's a switch hitter. 2-2 to Tatis. Loop down into shallow right center, and that'll fall for a hit. So Tatis with 2 strikes, taking it to right field for a 2-out single. The Mets' 9th inning.
Let go with one hand. It's just the key to that is keeping your hands back. You know, you're out in front, and you got a chance. Just placed it out there.
9 hits tonight for the Mets. Do you know that through the first 16 games, the Mets have only had 1 game this season where they've had double figures of hits? Here's Pagan, who has a hit tonight. Single to left and stole a run in the 7th inning. After the Braves botched the infield fly, Pagan saw home plate unoccupied and made a dash for the plate and scored the 4th Met run. One and 0 to Angel. Castillo would be next. Kenshin Kawakami is on the hook for the Braves. He went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs, 6 hits. Then Saito charged with 2 runs, and both of those wound up being earned on 2 hits in the 7th. Line to left field, but right at Melky Cabrera for the 3rd out. So the Mets are done in the bottom of the 8th. K-Rod comes on to try and protect a 3-run lead in the 9th. Well, Frankie Rodriguez with a chance to save games on back-to-back nights.
The first save last night, 5 outs. Coming in here and facing the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitter for the Atlanta Braves.
The last time before last night that a Mets pitcher came in to get a save of 5 outs or more after entering the game with the bases loaded, like Frankie did last night, you got to go back to 2003 when Armando Benitez did it against the Marlins. That's how rare what K-Rod did last night is. And something gets loose on the warning track out in left center, so Angel Pagan has to track it down. Melky Cabrera 0 for 3, flied out, grounded out, struck out. The pitcher of record on the long side for the Mets is Isanori Takahashi. It would be his first major league win, and he really distinguished himself tonight with 3 innings of long relief. He allowed a run on 2 hits, walked 1, and struck out 7 after John Maine left with an injury in the 4th. There's a strike to Cabrera, 1-1.
He did a nice job of using his fastball a lot more than he's used it so far.
Takahashi won 79 games in his Japanese career and waiting for win number 1 in the U.S. And K-Rod trying to do the favor for him, but Cabrera opens the 9th inning with a base hit. So after Frankie retired 5 in a row last night, he gives up a base hit to his first batter tonight.
Oh, it looked like Cabrera was just sitting on that changeup, and he just not the least bit fooled.
So now Omar Infante will come to bat, and Infante is 3 for 3 tonight. Single to center twice and double to left. He scored 2 runs. He's stolen a base. Big night for Infante, getting a start with Yunel Escobar bench tonight. And he lifts one to center field. Pagan started back, now comes in. 1 out. Let's head to the studio, check in with Chris Carlin and Bobby Ojeda to see what's coming up tonight on Lincoln Mercury Postgame Live. All right, thanks, guys. We'll look forward to that. 1 out in the 9th for K-Rod, and now Yunel Escobar will pinch hit. It's been a struggle for Escobar, who had 5 RBIs on opening day against the Cubs and has struggled in every game since, hitting just 185 since opening day.
Well, the rap on him has always been when he struggles at the plate, he takes that out in the field with him. He's made some bonehead plays out there. He's gotten in Bobby Cox's doghouse again.
You don't want to get in the doghouse in the last year.
They didn't need him out there tonight to make a bonehead play.
That's right.
1-1 to Escobar. You saw Dave McLouth waiting on deck. 5-2 New York, 9th inning. That's trying to make it 4 wins in 5 games on this homestand and edge within a game of 500. They'll have Jonathan Neese going tomorrow afternoon. 2 errors tonight for Chipper Jones, not helping the Braves cause. 1-1 to Escobar, and it's in the dirt, bouncing away from Barajas, and that'll send Cabrera off to second. Wild pitch for K-Rod. Rodriguez, the 5th Met pitcher of the night, after Feliciano set it up for him in the 8th. Two and 1 to Escobar. And it's blown away, ball 3. Well, the one thing that the Braves need is base runners. If they can get Escobar aboard, they can get the tying run to the plate.
And you've got Omar Infante going up there, down 3 runs, and he swings at the first pitch and flies out. When you got a guy and Rodriguez who likes to go 3 and 2.
The 3-1 to Escobar, and he walked him. And so the Braves get the tying run to bat here in the 9th with Nate McLouth coming up. Well, McLouth is a guy who can pop one. Only 1 home run this year, but he is perfectly capable of tying the game with 1 swing. So K-Rod, after a faultless performance last night, digging a hole for himself here.
McLouth 20 home runs last season.
26th the year before that with the Pirates. He struck out 3 times tonight en route to an 0 for 4. 2 aboard and 1 out. 5-2 New York, 9th inning. And K-Rod ready to dig in. McLouth takes ball 1, changeup. Cabrera's at second. Escobar at first with 1 out.
Cabrera started by sitting on a changeup and getting a hit. The rest of the hitters seem to be taking this change.
And the fastball below the knees. And so K-Rod struggling to throw strikes.
Another runner gets on base, and if you don't get a double play, it's going to pretty much ensure Chipper coming up.
It was a well-timed scowl from Luis Castillo. He had that let's go look on his face. And Dan Warthen's going to come out to join the conversation.
mean, not much to say here. I mean, what can you say? I mean, you have to, at some point with this 3-run lead, you have to challenge him with a fastball here, 2-0. Certainly can't throw a changeup.
Fastball away. You want to try to hit it out. Hit the outside corner fastball.
Keep in mind the wind is blowing rather stiffly from left across toward right. So it's a left-hand hitter's wind right now. 2-0 to McLouth with Prado on deck. And he takes inside ball 3. A walk would put the tying runs on base. So K-Rod living dangerously here in the 9th. Take it here?
Yes, absolutely.
No question.
3-1. It was McLouth who hit the walk-off home run against the Phillies on Tuesday after Gloss and Hayward had homered in the 9th to tie the game.
Do you take here, Ronnie?
No.
Okay. On 3-1, McLouth grounds one foul. And a full count.
I honestly don't know what Frankie's going to throw here. You know? Is he going to try to get cute? Or is he going to go after him?
Well, he feels confident that he can throw any of his 3 pitches for a strike.
He's already walked 1 and fallen behind.
Well, he gets the strike, though, with that change of swinging strikes. Very rarely a strike called strike.
3-2 to McLouth. Ripped down the right field line, headed toward the pole. It hooks and goes just foul. At home run distance, but just tailed away. And that's how close McLouth came to tying the game.
Wow. And 3 days ago, the first game in that last series in Philadelphia, McLouth hit a home run to win the ball game for the Braves.
And that left to right wind might have cost him. Because when that ball first left the bat, it looked like it might be fair. So Frankie has to gear it up again here on 3-2.
Nice.
Just fouled off the changeup.
Nice cut. Stayed back nicely. Changeup was right down the middle. Look at the balance. Just barely stayed in there. It's a dip right there.
So a scary 9th inning for K-Rod and the Mets as that wind gusts toward right. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming to McLouth. Bounce slowly, foul.
Hanging in there. This is the battle.
He threw 25 pitches to get his 5 outs last night. Not too big a workload. Now he's come back tonight, and it's a struggle for him. "3-2. In there for a call, strike 3. Second out of the 9th inning, and the 4th time McLouth has struck out tonight.
Well, that's a good changeup right there, Ronnie.
Yeah, what a pitch. And I have to stand corrected. I said very rarely can he throw it for a called 3rd strike. Yes, he did, proving me wrong. Perfect pitch.
So now the Braves are down to their final out, but they've got a hot hitter, Martin Prado, at the plate. 1 for 3 tonight. 2 on and 2 out, 9th inning, 5-2 New York. And the curveball in for a strike. What a breaker by K-Rod, 0-1.
Nice breaking ball right there. Oh, did it cross up Barajas?
He didn't go out there, though, so that's how nasty it was.
Like he was looking for a changeup and got a curve. Now on 0-1, Prado takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 0-2. And Prado looks like he has no idea what's coming.
Well, he was caught guessing there.
One strike away. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Francisco Rodriguez works himself out of ninth inning trouble with back-to-back strikeouts. Isunori Takahashi has his first major league win. Ike Davis hits his first major league home run, and the Mets have taken 4 of 5 on this homestand as they beat the Braves 5-2.
Well, on the pitching side of it for the Mets, on a night when John Maine sustains an injury, muscle spasms and pain in his non-throwing elbow, it's Takahashi who comes in and strikes out 7. The rest of the bullpen does their job, and K-Rod with his second save.
And Jerry Manuel with the new lineup tonight. Reyes hitting third. Reyes, of course, gets 2 hits in that role, a double and a triple. Jason Bay swung the bat much better, got a big RBI triple. David Wright drove in 2 tonight, so they're tinkering with that order. Produces 5 runs and a W.
1 for 1 with Reyes in the 3-hole. Who said he's a leadoff hitter? Mets now within a game of 500 with a win tonight. Ike Davis had won 450 feet for his first big league home run. And K-Rod snapping off that curve to strike out Prado to end it. And the Mets with a very tidy 5-2 victory over the Braves in the opening game of this series. Mets winning 5-2. Back with more from